Yes. Yes. Hello, everybody. I am sick. But you already knew that. Hello, everyone. Welcome and Merry Christmas. Foolish mortals. Welcome to my very special Christmas live stream. I am really happy to be here chilling with you all. I don't feel particularly well, as you can probably tell by my appearance. Do I look sick? I feel sick. I am unwell at present. However, we have every intention of closing out the year the right way, and I couldn't think of a better way than to do it with all of you guys. So hopefully everything's okay. You guys know the drill. Just give me a quick update. Let me know, can you hear me? Can you hear the audio? Is it picking me up? I hope it is. It says it is. Yeah, it says it's getting my mic. You guys should be able to hear some music. The wonderful backing track by the excellent Tobias Lilia. And yeah, we're going to celebrate Christmas today in a couple of different ways, because I've got a couple of little things planned out. There is a few things that I would like to do today. There is a like semi-structure to today's stream. Don't get me wrong, I am going to be chatting to you guys and just chilling out and enjoying the day. But there is also a structure, and it's going to depend a lot on your guys' input, because I want to start off next year working on a new project that may develop into a new series depending on its success. And the first episode, or at least the first one, the pilot, is going to be heavily inspired, if not semi-written and developed, by you guys. I today have a series of questions and polls that will branch off in different different directions. And we're going to cast votes on how the newest chapter of my speculative series is going to go. We together tonight are going to invent a Little Nightmares story, like I've been doing for the speculative DLC series, where I come up with ties and links and characters and monsters and environments and things like that. Well, I do that all on my own, and I dig out inspiration from other people, and then I employ artists and references and things like that as a means to tie those things together and bring it to life for you guys. Now, with the new one, with the new version of it, because we are closing that out with Chapter 6, which I am currently in the process of doing. In fact, it's almost done. I might even share some of it with you guys today. But that comes later. For now, I want to start greeting you guys, so I just have to bring up my chat. I also have a beverage because Christmas. And Christmas also, look, Christmas lighting, because this is about as Christmassy as I get, but we've got some green and reddish themes and things like that. I did not put up my tree this year because lazy and sick, but but also hello everybody. So let me just bring up chat, if I can. Right, pop out chat. Let me pull it over here and I can actually say hello to some of you guys. Also, I apologise if I've been missing a lot of these because 3 ads. Oh my god, Stinkles, that is disgusting. I have got ads on this, right? But I've set them to moderate. If you've got 3 ads on moderate, I hate to think what would happen if I set it on violently aggressive. Because there's 3 settings. You can set it on moderate, which is barely any ads, apparently. And then there's the other one, which is just normal. And then the last one is loads of adverts all the time. And I dread to think what that would do to people. I have to have ads on if I want to be monetized. I need it. It's obviously. But I also don't want to ruin the viewer experience. That's why I turn it on moderate all the time. But hello everybody, how are we? Stinkles, Mocky Kitty, how are all the obstreperous children doing? The audacity is measureless. Mr. Beast, no! Santa Mr. Beast, it's the ferryman! Hey everyone, hello Iris Moth, how you doing? How's your project coming along? Are you still working on that or are you taking a break over the Christmas period? Hello Fantasy Feline, welcome in. How we doing? How we doing? Ratchet, what's up? How you doing? Hello, Osama Ahmed. How are you? Merry Christmas to you. Hello, Snow Sub-Zero. How are you? I know who you are. Yes, I do. Just GKS, my talented friend. How are you this wonderful winter's evening? I hope you're doing all right. Hello, Unknown Unknown. Welcome to the chat. How are you? I'm struggling to read. Why am I struggling? Come on, eyeballs. There you go. Tammy, how are you? Tammy, I am very well. Thank you very much. Yes, Unknown Unknown, I do remember you. I remember you from the last stream, and I think from the stream before also. Jebby Wemmy. Stinkles, I think you're the only one that calls me Jebby Wemmy. Hello, Rhiannon, how are you? Oh, your message is redacted. I don't know why, but hello. I hope you're doing okay. Oh, we got members in the chat as well. What's up, Ramea? How are you? Greetings, little ones. Gaius has arrived. Also, yeah, we are going to be doing a giveaway today. In fact, do you guys want to see what I'm giving away? I got this. Well, I got several of these, but I got this. I got this. This is the Descent to Nowhere comic, but this is a very special limited edition one. This one is mine. This one belongs to me. But as you can see, it's bagged and boarded, it's exclusive, and they are limited. There's only 150 of these being produced. So I'm going to keep one, but I'm also going to give one to you guys today. Well, I'm gonna the announcement for it is today, so all of you guys that are in the chat have a chance to win this. All you've got to do is type the word Xmas25 into the chat. You only have to do it once because you only get one entry. I will read all the rules and regulations as is customary on the channel, but I'm going to be giving one of these to one of you guys for Christmas as a gift from me to you. They're very exclusive because, like I said, there's only 150 of them and I'm keeping one, so there's only 149 of these left around somewhere, if there are any left. I hope there are, because I put in an order for one slightly shortly before doing the stream and I decided to give one away. Well, yeah. Hi Catsy, how you doing? Hello there and welcome. No worries if you want to keep the live stream short. Hey, yeah, no worries. I say it'll be short, but it probably won't be. It's probably going to be a long one today because, like I say, I have a plan. I actually have a descent of my own to take you guys down today, and it's going to depend a lot on your input, so I need you guys to stick around. Oldest Nightmare, hello there and welcome. Another very talented friend of mine, back to back with GKS as well, two very, very talented people. Oh, Crisis, hello. Oh, yeah, thank you for the confirmation, guys. I appreciate that, letting me know that my sound is good. Hi, Jen, misread the time. You put it British time, of course, so I can't stay for an hour. Hey, not to worry, Steph. You're all right. I don't mind. You're totally fine. You just stay for as long as you can if you want to. There is absolutely no pressure. I'm going to be here for a while anyway, and I recognise that me living here in Britain doesn't necessarily pertain to everybody's time frames. Also, it's Sunday, which is highly unusual. I normally go live on a Saturday, but yesterday I had some important things to do, and but for the rest of the week I have been rather unwell. So today is the first day where I've thought, you know what, I'm actually capable of this, and we're able to move forward with it without me passing out halfway through. I think I'll let you know when we get halfway through. My mum's crashing out because my cat outside of my room. Random, but okay, cool. Merry Christmas, Snow Sub-Zero. Yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. What's up, Vinny? Howdy, how's it going? All my days, Alison. Look at you straight away with a Christmas door, but a bit skint because don't you worry about it, Alison. Massive W in the chat. Let's get some eyeballs in the chat for you. You put plenty of eyeballs in yourself. You already know how it be. Let me get some eyeballs in the chat for our first dono of the night. Thank you very much, Alison. I really appreciate you. Merry Christmas to you indeed. And don't worry about being skint. We're all skint. I'm skint too. Trust me. We're all broke at this time of year. It happens to everyone. Which is again why there is absolutely no pressure to make any donations. Ever. But I very much appreciate it. Got these ads. Yeah, Unknown. I honestly do not know. I can show you guys when when I made these ads. I promise you, I put it on modest. I put it on the lowest possible setting for ads. I might actually try doing an ad-free live stream one day just to see what happens to my monetization, because obviously I do make a bit of money out of YouTube and I need to because broke, but also I hate that you guys get ads. Like, it really bothers me. You always seem to come up at the most inopportune moments as well. I see them when I go, like, when I watch my live streams back, as I always do, because me and my team go through the chat, especially when we do giveaways, because me and my team have to go through the chat systematically and pick out everybody who's entered the competition, and then you into the raffle, and that's how we pick you randomly. But we have to go through it first, so I have to watch the whole live stream several times, and I see the ads come up. I'm like, why are there so many? It doesn't make sense. I set it to modest, I promise you I do. I'm not just sitting here being really greedy like, yeah, I want loads of adverts because screw my audience. No. Are the 2017 Little Nightmares comics canon? No, not necessarily. Some of the themes in them, like obviously Six and the Maw and the Chefs and things like that, they are canon, so they're based on like canon experiences. But it has sort of been alluded to that the actual 2017 comics, them ones back there, are not strictly canon. Yes, Shattered Low and Alone. Gemini, I have a video coming out about my improvement in my figs. I just made a bucket hood and a bandage. Oh, bucket hood and bandage from Reanimal. Nice, excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That sounds cool. I played the Reanimal demo. Oh my days. Damn, like that's good. There will be theories. I will actually upload the playthrough soon. It will probably come at like the beginning of next year, or maybe at New Year, something like that. I might upload it as some filler material because it's just me goofing around. I didn't do anything special or find anything super secret that hasn't already been completely scoped out on YouTube. So it's nothing groundbreaking. But if you guys want to see my actual first reaction to the game, tune into that. Like, stick on notifications, ring that little jingle bell because you'll get to see me react to the Skinwalkers. I think I called them the skin crawlers. Them thing, the things I'm talking about. God damn it. Can you turn ads on after it's streamed? I don't know. I can probably toggle it. That might. I wonder if that's a thing. Actually, I'm gonna try that. Actually, Future Gem. Remember, try to toggle on and off, and see if I can mess with the adverts afterwards. Look at all the eyeballs in chat. Hey, what's up? Hey Gemini, hey Fallen Angel, how are you? How you doing? Nikki Gibbs, hello. Aspen Groves. Oh, there's so many familiar faces. I love seeing so many familiar faces in the chat. What's up, Edward? How you doing? Hey Jen, do you mind if I put my Little Nightmares 3 review here? It's going to be in multiple parts, by the way. Go ahead. You feel free. Share your opinion. That's what it's all about. Does Descent to Nowhere take place before the Sounds of Nightmares? Because in issue 3, the water sickness isn't cured, but Otto is really suspicious. Yeah, indeed, it does seem to take place before that, if the water sickness isn't cured. But it is a messy timeline at the moment. I think it's well structured. The story is well structured, but I haven't read through all of them yet. I'm sort of saving my opinion until issue 4 comes out. Then I'm going to read them all back to back and actually comb through them with my theorist head on, rather than just flicking through and being like, oh, cool. Because I haven't read them like I would read them properly. If that makes any sense at all. Off topic, but I have goldfish crackers. Does anyone want one? Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. I think it takes place after, because the Sounds of Nightmares, he discovers he needs to counsel more kids like Noon to get to nowhere. Potentially, yeah. I thought by Otto's interactions that it takes place after, but the water sickness thing did throw me off. Yeah, Alison, I bet you can't. Alison's got the mirror edition of Little Nightmares 3. So you're going to play Little Nightmares 1, 2, and 3, right, Alison? The real CC09, what's up? How you doing? Also, Gemini, do you consider Reanimal as an indie game? I checked Google and they say it is, plus Tarsier has been nominated for Best Indie Developer. I suppose I would, even though Tarsier are like reasonably But I don't know, actually. As far as game studio goes, they're pretty small. And so I suppose they do still count as an indie developer. It's tough to say when they produce games of such high quality. You know what I mean? It's like, I know that indie developers are perfectly capable of making incredible games. In fact, that Expedition 33, Claire Obscura, that was an indie developer, pretty much. They were like a very, very small studio that weren't really affiliated with anyone. I think they were like ex-employees of Ubisoft or something like that, and they won like 9 awards, including Game of the Year. And they were an indie studio, like very, very small. So it's not that indie developers can't make good games. It's just, if I was to play a game like Expedition 33 or Little Nightmares 1 and 2, I would, particularly 2, I wouldn't think that they were indie developers purely because the games are that good. But that's not a fair comparison, because that's not what indie means. Indie doesn't mean poor game or necessarily low budget. It just means like individual developer, small studio kind of thing. So yeah, I suppose I do still consider Tazier an indie developer, but they are well on their way up. So do you have one comic or two? I currently have one in my possession. One of them is over there on that desk behind me, and that's mine and I'm keeping it. And the other one I'm going to give away to you guys, but they are both the same. They're just different issues. The one I'm keeping is number 84, I believe. Let's have a look, I'll show you. Because you'll see, this is the front of it. Obviously, it's got the Virgin, no title or anything like that, just the artwork. And then on the back of it, out here, that's where I got it from, Forbidden Planet, exclusive merchandise, and then you can see right there, don't put it in your drink, Gem, is, whoop, there. This is issue 84 of 150. I hope that's clear on the screen. I really don't want to take it out of the packaging because I'm trying to keep it mint, or as mint as I can possibly keep it with my man hands. There you go. But I've got them all, like, you know, bagged and stuck and labelled and everything like that. I'm trying to keep it very tidy and very neat. But that's the one I'm keeping. That's mine. I am going to order, well, I've already ordered another one for one of you guys. I'm still waiting for it to arrive. It shouldn't be too long. I think I'm expecting it in 3 days' time. They couldn't deliver it to me today because it was, I ordered it yesterday when I decided to actually do this stream. And I'm not sure when it'll be here, but hopefully it'll be soon. I'm hoping before Christmas. If not, it's absolutely fine, because no matter when it, even if it takes till 2026, you're still going to get it. I'm sure I'll get it anyway. Have you heard of The Rake? Yeah, absolutely. It was one of the first creepypastas I ever read, was that Sub-Zero. I really liked the story of The Rake. Freaked me out for a little while as well, because I was sure I'd seen it. But then I read online the actual story. I actually messaged the people who made up The Rake. Like, they invented The Rake as a creepypasta designed to see. It was essentially a social experiment. Was The Rake, just to see how easy it was to create a believable cryptid. And it worked really well. At least it worked on me. Fair warning, I might not be much help when we make the story, because a lot of my ideas are in a project I'm working on, but I'll try. Hey, not to worry, guys, it's absolutely fine. There's a lot of things in there as well that I wouldn't want to include, because although they haven't been published yet, I have ideas of my own that I'm putting into Little Nightmares themed stories, because I'm going to be doing some readings of fan fictions and stuff that I've written myself. Obviously, I've got my comic going on that's eventually going to be developed too. That I've had to put that on the shelf at the moment because there's been a lot of inconsistency this year, which has left me in the lurch a little bit. Not to anyone's, it's not anybody's fault. It is what it is when you're trying to work on big projects that require a lot of people's involvement. What if the second DLC protagonist turns out to become the gnome that gets its neck snapped? Ooh, what if it does? What if it does? What's up, Frangishvili? You are here. Hello there. Hope I said your name right this time. I probably didn't. Gemini, do you know your videos? Oh, Gemini, how do you do your videos? I only have a phone and I record my voice first and then put photos to relate to what I'm talking about because I'm confused. So I have like a full-blown studio here. So I've got like, you know, PC and multiple monitors and setup and everything like that. And I have like professional editing software that you have to pay for. You can just do it with your phone, but I do it, it's kind of complicated the way I do my videos. Like, to explain how to use the editing software, I'd have to explain like a year's worth of practice, because that's essentially what I did. I just sat and I learned how to use it with YouTube tutorials and walkthroughs and guides and things like that, and practice. I just practiced how to use it, but I was never very good at like literally just using my phone. I do use my phone for some things, but very little, because the quality I can get on my phone versus the quality I can get on the PC, you know, with my high quality monitor, my high quality camera, the mic and the sound system and everything like that, is just so much better. And people are more likely to watch content that is produced in very high quality. So the higher quality you can produce, the better. So it's perfectly fine to start doing YouTube on your phone, and if you want to make videos and that's your only option at the moment, then that's absolutely fine. You can do it, because as long as your ideas are good and your delivery is good and you're well practiced and well versed, you have a good vocabulary, and you at least get, you know, your lighting right and the themes of the video right, you can still find some success. It's just a lot harder, because when people open a video and it's like they notice it, like I'm guilty of this as well. If I open a video and the audio quality is very poor and I've got headphones in, I just turn it off, because it like overstimulate me and like freak me out. It's like I'm just like, nope, can't listen to that. Nope, sounds uncomfortable. And the same with the visual quality. If it's a video that I'm supposed to be watching, you know, it's like a tutorial on how to do something that's quite intricate, but the video's in like 720p. I'm like, you know, it's kind of blurry and kind of out of focus and things like that. I'm just like, no, I'm going to watch the 4K version, thank you very much. But, you know, so just produce the best you possibly can. But I would say if you want to make videos like mine, then you probably need at least a reasonable quality computer, a decent camera if you intend to use one, and a decent microphone. They're the things that I would say invest in first. Camera, because it's really tempting to get all nice, like, you know, peripherals, you know, like a gaming mouse. And I've just realised that my mouse isn't lit up either. Don't know why. It's probably because it's running out of battery, so I'll plug that in real fast, because the last thing I need is technical difficulties while I'm in the middle of this, because we are going to get into it in a minute anyways, because I want your guys' involvement and I don't know how long it's going to take. And I know I said it's going to be a longer stream, but I also don't have all night, and I've been yapping for 20 minutes, so there we go. But yeah, it's tempting to buy like really expensive gaming peripherals, you know, gaming mice and headphones and bloody controllers and keyboards and everything like that. But for YouTube specifically, for content creation, you really need good mic, good camera, and a good system, like a good overall processing system, so a good PC or laptop, ideally. Now, let me just... Come on, mouse, live. Why has it disappeared? There it is. Alright, fantastic. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit. My mouse has been playing up recently, actually, and I don't really know why. How many Giantoid, how many times has someone mistaken you for Ed Sheeran? Funnily enough, not all that many. Purely because I can't sing. I often get mistaken for those in my UK audience might get this, but I've been mistaken several times for a character called Chesney from a soap of some description, like EastEnders or Coronation Street or Emmerdale or something like that. I don't watch soaps. I haven't watched soaps since I was a child, and like literally sat with my parents while they were watching it. But I've been mistaken. That's the only celebrity I've ever been mistaken for. 50B2 said I look like Simon Pegg, but I don't know. I don't know how true that is either. Shout out to Gemini for celebrating Christmas on the Yule, so I have something to do since my family isn't celebrating this year. Happy Yule and Merry Early Christmas, y'all. Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Yule to you, Aspen Groves. I'm happy I was able to give you guys something to do. That's something else as well, is that the the whole like concept of Christmas is to do with, for me at least, and what it's supposed to be about isn't necessarily the gifts or Santa or trees or lights or anything like that. It's to me it's not even a religious affair, because I'm not a religious person, and whether you guys or not is entirely up to you. It's your prerogative, and it's not something that I discuss because it's controversial, and who cares really. What it's about to me is family and togetherness. To celebrate being around, like surrounded by the people you love in a comfortable, warm and welcoming environment where there's no conflict and there's no pressure. You know, you just sit around the same table with the people you love, you share good food, you listen to good music, and you exchange gifts if that's what you do. That's Christmas to me. Like, that's what matters to me. And not everybody has that. I'm very fortunate. Like, it's because I only do small Christmas gatherings with my family. So it's literally just like me, mum, dad, and sometimes my brother and my nephews, his children, and my niece as well. I've got a new niece. I've only seen her twice because my brother doesn't live in the same town as me. So, but yeah, so we just have a small family gathering. We have a big meal. We give each other a couple of gifts, and that to me is Christmas, and that I'm perfectly happy with that. Perfectly happy with that. Jem, have you watched those Little Nightmares 3 critique videos? I'm asking because I know a lot of people don't watch them because they may be hate, which is valid. Yeah, I've watched a few of them because I'm developing one of my own, and I wanted to offer a very unbiased review of my own. So as far as Little Nightmares 3 goes, I recognise that it did fall short in a lot of areas, and I want to be unbiased. I loved the game. I love Little Nightmares. I love the nowhere and the universe surrounding it and all the characters and everything like that. However, there are some shortcomings that it would be naive and short-sighted of me not to address. And I wanted to know what other people think, because I recognise that it was getting a lot of hate because I've read the reviews. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch some of the videos. And I watched the critiques, and some of them are scathing. Like, they just set fire to the thing. They, like, absolutely burned it down. And while I do think some of them were harsh, they're not all unfounded. So I wanted to offer a critique of my own. A review, but an honest review. Because I don't just want to go in and kiss its ass and say, oh, you know, it was the best game ever made, because it wasn't. It did fall short in certain areas. I do think, personally, that it was weaker than Little Nightmares 2. But that's my opinion. But it seems to be the opinion of a lot of other people as well. But I don't just want to go in and immediately bash it, because there was a lot of things it did right as well. And there was a lot of good things about it that I really did enjoy, as you guys can see from my playthrough that's available on the channel. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I wanted to give a fair and balanced critique, and that's what I intend to do. So I have watched them, yeah, in answer to your question. Hey, Faceless Art, what's up? Snow Sub-Zero, have you heard of SCP-096? Yeah, the Shy Guy, absolutely. Yeah, I love him. He's one of my favourite SCPs, actually. I really like the Shy Guy. If you haven't watched it, you should watch his sad origin story, because it's pretty dope. Sub-Zerox, how you doing? Oh, to avoid further confusion for you, Jen, the CH in my name is pronounced how you would pronounce cheddar. Mochi is a chap. Ah! Mochi! Yes, of course it is! I had mochi! I literally ate some mochi a couple of months ago. A friend of mine came over and she bought some mochi, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is this stuff? And I was like, but she was like, it's really nice, you should try it. Mochi, got ya. I thought it was mochi as in mocha, as in, you know, like a mocha latte. I do apologise, because I drink a lot of coffee, so I thought it was mochi, as in mochi, mocha, you know, a play on that. But mochi, got ya, mochi. Thank you so much for the clarification, I very much appreciate it. How's it going, Jem? I'm sick at the moment. So am I, Faceless Art and Skills. I'm so sorry to hear that you're not feeling very well. I've been unwell over the last few days as well. It's more mental than anything, but I'm very tired. I'm very fatigued. My sleeping pattern's all over the place. I'm really sorry to hear that you are not feeling good. I hope that you feel better soon, and that you can get back to creating what you do best. Gemini, I cannot do a donut. I don't care, Catsy. It does not matter. Donos are not why we're here. It's literally just an option that's there for a bit of fun. It's not necessary. It's not important. That's not what we're here for. And do not apologise. Stop it immediately. I wanted to do a big dono for you and Mama Gem for funds are literally nothing in the butt. I do not care. It does not matter. That's not what this is about. I appreciate the fact that you're here. Your love and support on the channel means the world to me. That is all I need. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. Right? It's helpful and it's very much appreciated, but it's not why I do this. Especially at this time of year. I do this to create a safe and friendly environment for us to come together as a community and discuss something and develop something that we all truly love and can enjoy as a community together. It doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about I know that you like to make donos, and I recognize that you feel bad. I always feel bad when I can't donate to a cause and things like that. But honestly, do not worry about it. It legitimately doesn't matter. Stop apologizing. You know better. What's up, Mara? How you doing? Yes, indeed. Yeah, don't forget to get your Xmas 25 codes in as well, because we are doing that. I'll tell you what. I better actually read the terms and conditions of the giveaway. So I'll do that real quick. I will read the terms and conditions of the giveaway, and then I am going to start doing polls. And this is where your guys' ideas are going to come in, and then as these polls drip down, we're going to start developing this. I've got my notepad at the ready, pen and pencil on the go, and we are ready to begin. Also, I did a doodle. that's what that was. I wasn't sure what I doodled there for a second. And that's a bill. Go away, Bill. Not interested in a bill today. Alison, goddammit! Thank you very much. There you go, Catsy. That can be that can be your one. Now you've contributed. Do you feel better now? You see, it's not necessary. But Alison, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, honey. But I also know your financial situation, so you be careful. I don't want to hear about I'm having some financial problems, because if you are and you've made donos, I'll send it back. so behave. I know you. Me when 12-year-olds whine about Little Nightmares 3. Such a brat, the audacity measureless. Yeah, Mochi's right. Exactly. Oh, little rebels uprise. It doesn't matter the size of a devil disguised. That was it. Sergeant Angel's going into your shop. Get a look at his arse. See you later, Fallen Angel. I appreciate you stopping in. Hello, Muttersteak. How are you? Hey, Gemini, I wanted to ask what you think of the Veil as a concept for Little Nightmares. Also, my project is going slow and steady, but I'm doing it by myself. Yeah, absolutely. And good projects don't turn over quickly. I think the Veil has a definite presence in the nowhere, and I like your ideas. I really want to see how your character Key ties into the Veil and what the Veil actually represents, you know, because, like, the Maw is like a representation of hunger and gluttony. And things like that, and then the Pale City is like a strange, warped pseudo facsimile of escapism and stuff like that. Escapism and like wasting your life away kind of thing, and like dependency on media and all the rest of it. And I really like to see how the Veil contributes to like the overarching aspects that the nowhere can bring, and what unsettling monsters will take place in there as well. I am very interested to see how your project turns out. Gemini, here's a fun fact. Tarsier Studios is named after the animal called the tarsier. I did not know that. Thank you very much. I'm going to look into what a tarsier is, because I don't know. Eyes for Alison. Yeah, eyeballs in the chat for Alison. Sometimes when I get mad, I think about turning Kit Kat Catty into an actual Kit Kat. Nom nom nom. Gorgeous style. Alright, I said I was going to read these terms and conditions of this giveaway, so I'm going to do that real fast. So, where's my screen? There it is. Here's my thing. Alright then, so, I'm going to read this out. So this is just the terms and conditions for the people who are wanting to enter the giveaway. If you want to enter the giveaway, you just got to type the word Xmas in all caps, followed by the numbers 25, just as it's written there. Check the pinned comment, because that gives you everything you need. But you only have to do it once. You only get entered once. But I'm going to read the terms and conditions here and now, so that you guys are clear on it anyway. But let's see. Okay. Below are the details of the Christmas prize giveaway for those of you who wish to participate. All viewers will receive one free entry into the prize draw by typing the code XMAS25 in the live chat. Members of the channel will automatically have all of their entries doubled. Due to the potential popularity of this event and in the interest of fair play, all entries will be counted by myself and by members of my team after the stream has concluded. You do not have to spam the chat, as every individual only gets one entry into the draw. The winner will receive a limited edition copy of the Descent to Nowhere comics, specifically The Little Nightmares Descent to Nowhere #1 Sweeney Boo MCM exclusive limited number Virgin edition, which is that I just showed you guys. If preferred, the winner may instead choose to receive a gift card of the same value. The winner will be announced within 48 hours of the stream's conclusion by way of a community post, after which contact information will be exchanged in order to issue their prize. Should the winner fail to claim their prize within 72 hours of the community announcement being made, their name will be removed from the draw and another will be chosen, and I wish you all the best of luck, little ones. They are the terms and conditions, so that is that. If you want to enter the giveaway, that's how you do it, and that is how you go about it. Now, where is my file? Where are you, file? There! Little Nightmares Secret Expansion. Hello, Ghoul, how are you doing? I just read 2017 comics and I don't understand why would Mr. Beast do it? Why is the ferryman Mr. Beast all of a sudden? Hello, Steve. How's it going? What's up, Nix? Oh, it's good to see you, Ghoul. I'm glad you could stop in and say hi. Alex Smallwood, you're Gemini. I'm afraid I can't stay because I got work. Hope you have a safe and happy holidays. I hope you do too. Alex Smallwood, thank you so much for popping in to see us and saying hello. It's very, very much appreciated. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Yule, happy winter. have a December. I appreciate you popping in and saying hi to me. Thank you so much. Okie dokie. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to end the naughty and nice poll because that was just a bit of fun. There we go. So that can go now. Let's see who's on the naughty and nice list. There you go. 85% of you have been nice. And 15% of you have been naughty. Freaky Fred reference. Those of you who get it, write it in the chat. I might use either Christmas concept or some scrapped concepts from my own project for the story, because I don't want my ideas to be spoiled, but I know they will so soon, so stay tuned. Certainly will, guys. Certainly will. Katsudon, hello there. Hello and welcome. Gemini, sorry to repeat my message, but I knew you were going to ask what you know what I think. God damn it, Faceless. You already know. I'm going to go over into right. I'm going to go into Discord and I'm going to copy and paste exactly what I said to you. No, I'm not going to do that because that would be that would be in breach of your privacy. But I think the pictures you've done of Glitchy Lev are really good. I really like Glitchy Leon as a character, because she's just so weird. She's weird in the best way because she fits within the nowhere, but she's like a perfect blend between resident and visitor. So you don't know how to take her. She's just bizarre, but the concepts that you did recently are really, really good. I particularly like the idea of her in like lizard form, or like an almost like reptilian, amphibian kind of look. It's the fingers. It's like the way you draw hands, I really enjoy. And there's just something about the way Glitchy Lev was drew, where she was all like crouched up in that awkward position. It just looked great. You captured her really, really well. I love your art style. I always have. You know. But also, I always like to answer you because I know it's important to you that I relay what I think. And I don't mind doing it. Yes, he was a naughty person. Indeed. Indeed. Keep calling him Mr. Beast because Step made a community post about the Descent to Nowhere, and someone in the comments said Ferryman was doing the Mr. Beast meme pose. My cat is watching you. I'm not even joking. She's following you across the screen. Meow. What's up? Hello. Hello, fantasy felines cat. You have a fitting name. Hey Jem, I don't think I've said this already, but thank you for commenting on my broadcaster doodle. Hey, you're more than welcome. Nix, I absolutely love to see Little Nightmares fan works. I love to see artwork, I love to listen to the music, I love to watch videos and theories and things. I love the Little Nightmares community. I think you guys are great. And it was an inspired work, so I'm happy for you. Well, you don't have to thank me. Thank you. Thank you for creating it. All I can do for you, Gemini, is my art, which I hope you've loved so far. I have other ideas as well. What's your favourite starter Pokemon? Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Charmander. I'm probably going to go Charmander. And your art is all I need, Catsy. Honestly, your artwork is phenomenal. You're a brilliant artist and you're a talented individual, and I very much appreciate you, your support, your friendship, and very much your artwork as well. Which is actually going on my wall. I finished the little doodle, not doodle, the collage that I was making of all of my fan art and things like that, that inspires me to do projects like this one, which I am actually going to begin now. So today, yeah, Rexo, I'm trying to keep up with chat. I am, that's why I might be skipping a little bit. I might be like glazing over people's answers like pretty quickly without deep diving into them as much as I probably should, because I still want to show a lot of you guys respect. Hey, what's up, KM076? See, like that, I miss somebody, and I value you all, but I don't want you to feel like I'm like skipping out on yous. But I also want to but I also want everybody to get the love and respect that they deserve, especially at this time of year when you're sitting here chilling with me when you could be doing anything else. But also, I have a plan today, and I'm going to get on with it now. I'm going to start a poll. We today are going to design a Little Nightmares secret expansion chapter that I am going to edit and animate and make into a full-blown video, but it's going to be based entirely on your guys' ideas. Now, because all of that is so heavily brainstormy, I think if we were to just throw all of our ideas into here at the same time and try and juggle them, we'll end up with a bit of an idea soup that kind of trips over itself in a lot of ways. So I've designed a structured series of polls that's going to help us dictate what the way the story is going to go. And then in the next stream, we're going to fine-tune it and, you know, like strictly like design the characters and maybe even have them drawn up and things like that, and the environments and the monsters. But for now, let's do this. So Leonardo Martinez, Badlander, how's it going? Bastoid. Great name. How are we? How are everyone? Right. So all you guys are going to do is vote on your favourite concepts, and the winning categories will be implemented into the story with credits to those who contribute. Chat are going to decide on environment, monsters, playable characters, and so on. And this is going to branch off in two different directions. But first off, we should do this. Do we want... Where's my first question? Sorry. Oh, yeah, right, okay, so the first... Oh, that's not the right one. Sorry, forgive me, I am being poor. I'm being poor. Please don't ban me. I won't ban you yet. The sacrifice comes at the end of the stream, Leonardo. So if you survive till the end of the stream, then you may get sacrificed. And I may ban you from chat. just for the fun of it. But I don't think I have any reason to do that as it stands. Yes. Okay. Poll. How do I do a poll? Remember, Jem. Remember how to be a YouTuber. Okay, so the most important question of them all, because this is going to decide whether we go down branch A or branch B. Should we do... Forgive me, guys. The first question, for some reason, didn't save into this file, so the branching question I am going to just have to type out. So bear in mind, let me just think real quick. You didn't sacrifice me last time. Stinkles, you will go on the... if you're still here a little bit later on, let me know. And I'll probably poll to see whether or not we sacrifice you as well. I might do multiple sacrifices today, actually. Okay, let's see. Gemini major muscle memory activated. Typing speed over 9,000, still rising. Yeah, almost. It's getting there. Also, I have a tree. I don't have the moon in the background today, and my moon is green. I have Christmas-themed lighting that I keep forgetting about until I look over at that screen. Sacrifice me just this once. Maybe I will, Tammy. Maybe I will. Okay, so what story what kind of story will we be creating today? I'm typing this out, but I am gonna explain the points as well. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh. So, here we go. This is going to be the first poll. I've typed too many. It won't let me start it because I've typed too many. Why does it only give you 35 characters? That's loose. Whatever. Whatever. I'll just take that away. There. Whatever, right? It's saying that I've used too many characters, so I'm just going to explain it. There you go. It's making me write it like a Neanderthal because it's the YouTube polling system will only let me add so many characters to the thing, so I can't really describe it how I want. I might have to type these out individually, which is awkward, but whatever. First question, which is the most important one. What kind of story will we be creating today, together? Are we going to create an existing story based on like characters and environments that we already know? You know, places we've already visited within the nowhere, characters we've already met and characters we know, characters we've played as, monsters that we've met or are familiar with? Or do we want to create something that's entirely new, where we invent OCs with brand new monsters, brand new environments, and a whole new expansion, a whole new extension of the nowhere, but based loosely on existing lore? So we can still put tidbits in, you know, we can still have, we can still implement certain areas and we can still pass through certain areas. So like it might be an entirely new character and an entirely new branch, but it could be in the Pale City, but it'd have to be like a part of the Pale City that we have seldom explored. Like we've never been there before, we've never heard of it before because we made it up entirely. And we're going to take that and I'm going to let that run for a few minutes because that will decide whether or not we branch out to branch A or branch B, and I want to let everybody have their say. So you guys go ahead and vote on that, and whichever one you decide on, we will move forward with onto the next question, and it'll branch into branches A or B, and we'll decide on which of those characters, environments, creatures, and eventually get down to like the theme and the demographic, and then eventually the ending of this this entirely new video that we're gonna well, I'm gonna edit it, but we're gonna create it together. What's up, Mr. Tivs? Brother Tivs is in the building. How you doing? Hey Gemini, I'm working on redrawing my faint signals here, you. I've also been planning on drawing more fan art and just some more concept art. Hey, well, I'd love to see it, Faceless. You know where to find me. Me too. What's up, CRM? Also, yeah, if any of you guys are creative people, if you're like, particularly if you're artists, like if you like doing, you know, sketch art for concepts and things like that, like a level design concepts or character concepts and things like that, this is all, you are the people that are going to come into it, particularly in the next stream when it comes to really fine-tuning whatever we decide to make, especially if it's new, because it looks like the vote is leaning largely in favor of the entirely new, loosely based OC characters, OC environment and things like that, and they will need to be conceptualized and drawn by a professional artist. Well, not even necessarily professional artists. Like, again, I want this to be a community thing, so just by you guys. I might even contribute some of my own artwork. It won't be very good, but I think you guys will enjoy it. And the idea of this entire thing is to have some fun with it. So yeah, I think I'll let that run for a little bit longer, but it does look like we are going the entirely new route, which is branch B. So we will have a little look at this this system. It annoys me that I can only use 35 figures. I did not realise I was limited to how many figures I can use, and a lot of these are going to be more. So please forgive me if the answers to these polls seem to be like written by a caveman. I promise they were written better when I initially decided to do this. Mama's trying to have a pina colada. I'm trying to have a Dr. Pepper. They ran out of cherry cola. Normally, before every stream, I purchase a cherry cola zero, because that is like my little treat to myself. Also, I've got loads of ice in here and it's melting, so it's like making my desk all soggy. But yeah, normally I have a cherry cola, and I didn't get one today, sadly. So. Also, you have soft hair, Gemini, today. I didn't bother putting any product in my hair because I'm lazy and it's cold and I didn't want to put wet on my head. We must please the gods. Christmas gift early, yay! No worries, Sub-Zero. Multiple sacrifices are needed for the Xmas feast. We have a white, red, and orange moon. And now we have green moon. Yeah, now we have green moon also. I can actually make that. I can make that moon if it. Will it? There you go. No, it's not. I can't clap loud enough. Damn it! But you can just touch it as well. And doop, doop. There you go. I can have it scroll. Okie dokie. Yeah, but they ran out of cherry cola, so I don't get any. I'm afraid that's all the time I have for today, but hey, no worries, that's absolutely fine. I recognise that it's going to be getting a little bit late, and I've been yapping for an hour and we've barely started, so I can make some designs. Granted, I'm not good at hand drawing. It could be Canva. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. However you're comfortable doing your art is absolutely fine, whether you want to do it by hand, if you want to paint it, if you want to do it on Canva, if you use Photoshop, whatever it takes. Runaway Cobra, yeah, I like it. I like that little moon. It's brilliant. I actually bought that years ago. I really, really like it. Well, I bought one a long time ago and I dropped it and it smashed and I was really sad about it. And it wasn't until I actually moved into my other office that I bought one. I bought one of those moons a really, really long time ago. Anyways, it looks like we are going to be creating an entirely new character. So we're going to branch off to B. I'm going to be making notes as we go because obviously this is a thing that's going to be developed over time and I don't want to lose track. So you guys have voted with a 68% majority to go entirely new. So entirely new story. So this new video that we're going to be making is going to explore an entirely new Little Nightmares story, which I think is very, very fun and very, very exciting, and I am stoked to get into this. Because that would have been my vote as well. I was thinking that it would be better to because we can still loosely base stuff. Don't get me wrong, we can still like cameo other characters and environments and things like that. So it doesn't have to be like totally new in every single way. Like that, like Descent to Nowhere ties into what we know and love in one way or another. And I think it's important that we do have an aspect of that, and we'll find a way to do it. But first, we have to do some more polls. So I'm going to close off that one. And thank you guys very much. What's up, Alex the Frog? Merry Christmas to you. I'm already designing concept sketch for potential children. Nice, nice, excellent. That's something that I would like to see as well. Let's move on to the following poll. So the next poll, so we decided to do an entirely new story. The next poll is branch B. Copy that in. And let's see if this will actually let me be nice. Right, forgive me guys, this is a little bit slow, but this is a slow process. It's unfortunately not automated, so I am just currently copying and pasting. But I want to let you guys have your say. There you go. The next question for all of you guys, cast your votes on, is this one. Where should this story primarily take place? Now, bear in mind, this is going to be an entirely made up area, so you guys can make it up, and I have a couple of different options here. Number one is a decaying place of leisure. Think of places like an arcade, a resort, or a mall, or you know, something like that. It could be a place of authority or order, so like a school, university, hospital, an office, police station or something like that, fire station, government building of some description, a forgotten transit space, so like some kind of station, train station, bus station, airport, highway. You know, we could have like an expansive highway that just goes on and on and on forever, like a residual highway, like a liminal highway, or domestic space turned hostile. So like an apartment block like in the Pale City, a hotel, like a spooky hotel, I think would be really cool. Tenements, I think could be awesome as well. And we can discuss on that a little bit more too. But I think there's some good ideas in there and a lot of potential in the actual environment itself, and I feel like it's important to get an idea of the environment before we start deciding what characters we're going to drop into that environment, because I feel like the Nowhere is given form by the subconscious minds of those who enter it. So I think that's why a lot of the children who are in the Nowhere have direct ties to the areas they find themselves in and the residents they end up doing battle with. I think that is completely intentional, and I think it's by design. So I feel like if we can come up with the environment first, then we'll have a much easier time coming up with the residents and the visitors and what ties them together and how their fears and traumas and insecurities link to the overall aesthetic of the Nowhere and the overarching storyline. We're leaning towards a domestic space turned hostile. And also, if you guys, as we're going along, if you guys come up with ideas straight off the dome and you want to pop them into chat, please go ahead and do that, because again, I'm going to be rereading through chat and I'm going to be making note of particularly good ideas with this one, and it's stuff we're going to revisit, because these kind of like interactive polling streams I am going to be doing a bit more of if this concept works. But for the initial pilot, I'd like you guys to have your input. And I recognise that not everybody is going to get their own way. I recognise that a lot of people have already tried voting for Branch A because you wanted to do a familiar environment with familiar characters and there's no reason we can't integrate those and tie those in. But I want to go with the majority. Just because that's how we're going to work it, but it doesn't mean that just because it won't feature exactly what you wanted and be written exactly like you as an individual want, it will reflect the majority vote, and that's the idea. Okay, What's up, Lucas Rubber? How you doing? I'm glad to see you in the chat. I hope you're doing all right. I'd love for you to use some of my art in this new story. I probably will, Catsy. I probably will. What's up, King? Many people do not understand that from the hills where I command, when the moon turns red at Earth's darkest hour, I hold every ounce of power. Tread lightly, little ones. That was prophetic. I don't know if he reacted to my comment. Shattered Low and Alone. Gemini, if you look at the Reanimal trailer number 2 at the scene where the kids were running from the lamb, or what I call the shepherd, if you zoom in you can see the lamb's face. Yes, I did actually notice that, and it's creepy as all hell. I am going to be doing quite a lot of research on Reanimal, particularly when the game comes out. Well, I'm going to start really focusing on Reanimal a bit more towards the beginning of next year. I decided to close out this year with Little Nightmares rather than moving on to... Because I won't be moving on from Little Nightmares, and I feel like Little Nightmares will always be my bread and butter. It's like the foundation of my channel, and I love it. It's not to disparage Reanimal or the people that enjoy it or anything, because I personally played the demo and it's awesome. And Tazi have done an amazing job, as they always do, and I'm super excited for the game. I just don't think we have enough on it at the moment for me to really deep dive into. When I started theorising about Little Nightmares, I was already like 2 years deep into the fandom, so I kind of had a good, well-developed understanding of the Little Nightmares lore as it existed at the time, and I've been able to follow it through its development. Reanimal is still entirely new to me, other than it's kind of similar to Little Nightmares, but because they're not the same, I don't have any authority in that space. Like, at least here, I'm knowledgeable enough to say with confidence X, Y, and Z, and make my points and my theories to describe it. But with Reanimal, I have none of that. Like, I couldn't even name all of the characters. So I think there's a lot to be said for Reanimal, and I will be saying a lot of it, but I have to do my research first, because I'd like to have a good foundation to build off of before I start just spouting nonsense and headcanons. Alright then, guys, I'm going to close off that vote. We voted for a domestic space turned hostile. So we can start thinking about that concept now. So I'm going to scribble down this domestic place turned hostile. There we go. I'm making notes because this stream will not be long enough for us to completely create this idea. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get down the basic foundation, and then in the next stream we're going to continue to expand on that, and eventually we're going to work into producing artworks and sketches and level designs and everything like that, and we're going to sit there and go together, and then I'm going to have a word with a couple of very talented friends of mine who are going to end up creating these concepts. We're going to bring the characters and the monsters to life. We're going to create the environments for these characters to walk through, and maybe even eventually, very, very long term, we might even try and develop it into a playable scenario, like I'm doing with the speculative DLC series that already exists on my channel. Hi Gemini, I can finally join the live stream. Sorry I'm late. What are we talking about? What's up, ANH? Today we are creating a Little Nightmares concept. Now, you'll recall my Little Nightmares speculative DLC series. Well, I'm currently working on chapter 6 of the speculative DLC series, and that is the final chapter of the speculative DLC series. I'm working on the last one at the moment, and it's nearly done. It is like well into production now, and it's going really well, and I'm very proud of it, and I think it's going to be awesome, but it's going to be the last one. I'm like, I don't really want to stop, but how do I continue? Because I can conceptualize, you know, potential further DLCs for Little Nightmares, further DLCs for Little Nightmares 2. I could even play with the idea of creating a DLC for Little Nightmares 3 before and after the Secrets of the Spiral expansion. But I wanted to speak to you guys, and if you guys really like the idea, which it seems a lot of you do, I would like my audience to have an input because I value what you guys have to say, and I'd like to do something with you all in mind. So I'm letting the community vote on some pre-rendered ideas that are going to branch off and help us create and conceptualize a Little Nightmares story that I'm eventually going to have designed. I'm going to edit and I'm going to publish on the channel, and I'm going to credit everybody that made a contribution, and that is you guys. Also, my chat just died, so give me 1 second. There you go. Okay, so we have a 36% majority on domestic space turned hostile. So we're thinking of places like apartments, hotels, tenements of some description, villas, that kind of thing. But next, we're moving on to the following poll, which is the protagonist archetype. Now we're going to think about who we are playing as. So, let's engage with our audience, start a poll, ask a question. Who are we experiencing this story through? Now, again, this is going to be non-specific, but I think it's going to be valuable. Oh, but YouTube has limited me to how many figures I can use, so these descriptions are going to seem very stupid and like nonsensical, because it's my mistake really, but you know, I should have known that I would be limited on how many letters I can use, because it is 1999 after all. Crying out loud. Okay. So I'll have to change my wording a little bit here, so without taking away sense. Did you see what I said? I didn't see. 1 second. Domestic space. What about hold tightly knitted cul-de-sac? Sorry, can't spell it. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Yes, I do. What's up, Noah? How's it going? And the characters can travel from one house to another until they get the biggest one at the end of the row with the final boss. So, yeah, I like that. Actually, that's a really good concept, and I like that because it creates like a very linear level design aspect. That's really cool. I like that a lot. And the big boss could be like the head of the housing association, like the HOA big boss. Okay, next poll. Watering carnivorous house. Ooh, that's a good one actually. I like that as well. Ah, stop. Okay, I'm going to put up the next poll just while I read a couple of these comments. So let me read this off just so that it makes a bit more sense. So who are we experiencing the story through? Who is going to be our protagonist, our main character, our protagonist archetype? We're going for a silent, cautious survivor, someone who's been in the nowhere for a little while, kind of knows what to expect, but you know knows better than to be loud, but will still like explore but cautiously. Do we want a curious child who doesn't know better? So someone entirely new to the nowhere, never experienced it before, they're just visiting for the first time like Noon was, so they don't know better. And it's like everything is new and exciting. They want to explore, but they don't necessarily know the dangers. And we learn them as the chapter proceeds. Do we want someone who's already damaged by this place? So someone who's been in the nowhere for a while, like Lo, and they've become accustomed to it, where it's like, you know, they maybe have a couple of injuries, and maybe their attire reflects the fact that they've had to survive in the nowhere for a long time, and they've become institutionalized by it. They're used to being in the nowhere. So they're a bit more seasoned, like a veteran visitor of the nowhere who's been trapped here for a long time. Or do we want two characters with contrasting traits? So you get like a really brave and strong little girl, and then a really mild-mannered and tempered little boy who's like very shy and scared, and he relies on her to be really strong, or vice versa. You know, like the idea is you get two characters whose traits collide. so it causes a little bit of friction. So where one of them might be like, yeah, we're gonna run through the kitchen. I know it's full of dangers and chefs and that we might get eaten, but we're gonna run because we have to for survival. And the other one's gonna be like, no, we should stay in the vent and hide where it's dark and safe. So that kind of thing. But yeah, so a couple of different ideas there. Who are we experiencing the story through? Now, I am going to scroll back up a little bit. What's up, Sub-Zero? Welcome back. Mercus. Not Marcus. No, bloody autocorrect. What's up, Noah? Gemini, the Reanimal subreddit has made some interesting lore discoveries after the demo release. Maybe you could give it a look. I absolutely will, Alex the Frog, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. Future Gem, that's a job for you. You're going to have to check out the Reanimal subreddit, because there will be some lore implications that I don't know, and I am very interested in. Right, my character named Mercus, or by his title, Child of the Merc. He has messy black hair that covers his left eye, which is already covered by his dark grey bandages. His somewhat sharp teeth. Ooh, interesting. Watchy Kitty. Who are you talking to, Rex's channel? I don't know. Sorry, I missed that one. He wears long, palish pink and purple scarf around his neck, dark blue and slightly darker pale purple water vest with medium length sleeves and a pair of wet and torn black jeans. I really like that concept. It sounds like a very defeated character. One of his most surprising features is that his right hand is an octopus tentacle. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Interesting. An octopus tentacle which he uses to pick locks and cling to walls or even ceilings to hide. An interesting character concept. I don't know if it fits within the Nowhere, but maybe it does. I mean, we've just Little Nightmares 3 successfully canonized imaginary friends, and to be honest, I always advocate for the fact that the Nowhere itself doesn't have any real limitations, so there's no reason why he couldn't have an octopus arm. An idea for the domestic turned hostile could be the characters does chores, but they become increasingly nightmarish. Ooh, yeah, like a chore list. That could be interesting, actually. Oh, there's some concepts in there, isn't there? Yeah, because we are going with a domestic place turned hostile. What's to say that we don't just have the home? We could have the home. We could have, like, you know, it could be a children's home. My mother was raised in a children's home, in an orphanage. And it was a horrible place, like horrible, frightening place. As a lot of them were back then. And there's some real horror stories that come out of this place, and I've read them. You guys can read them online. In fact, one day I might share that with you. Some of the girls that my mother lived with back in the day wrote books and stories about their history, and this place comes up in them, and it's referenced quite a lot. A really scary concept. It's inspired a couple of my ideas, actually, in the past. I enjoy talking to my mum about it. Maybe siblings as protagonists. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Gemini, you're the best. Oh, thanks. Snow Sub-Zero, you're so wholesome, dude. How about a large empty field, like you're a distance away from a town and you have to escape a monster in probably the most exposed place possible? Alex the Frog, that's actually a cool concept that I was thinking about with the highway, because we, while we don't often experience that because we're often crammed into tight crevices and spaces where our characters sort of find a home in the darkness and seek security in the solitude of the areas we find ourselves. So it's like, it's claustrophobic, but that's good, because the smaller the space we inhabit, the less free range our enemies seem to have, unless you get something horrible like the dummy that can just go anywhere, like the kin and the minikin. They were really difficult because it can essentially follow you everywhere. But I really like the concept of having a wide open space, like a liminal car park of some description, or a highway, or a football field, or something like you described, because there is literally nowhere to hide. But there'll have to be ways and means by which we can escape from whatever creature or creatures or entity is pursuing us through. But that's something that we're going to be able to explore as well. I really like that idea. And again, just because we won't be using these ideas, so the ideas that don't make it and the ones that don't get voted in, It doesn't mean that we're never going to use them, doesn't mean that we're not going to implement them in some way or another. It just means that the initial concept, the first one that we come up with together as a community, is going to reflect these decisions that we make today. Doesn't mean we can't revisit them, because the idea is I could continue making this series endlessly, because the nowhere is ever expanding, and you guys and me, we as a community, we all have like endless ideas. We have a wealth of OCs and AUs and like alternative storylines that exist in our heads that we would like to see brought to life, and this, I think, is a really cool way to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, chores like watering carnivorous houseplants. Yeah, like you get like a Venus flytrap, but it's actually dangerous and it's huge, and things like that. Yeah, I really like that idea. Like you design the environment like it's a house, but it's an escape room, essentially, and you have to solve the puzzles to make your way out of the house and escape. But the puzzles are all chores, but the chores are like, you have to tidy up, but some of the things are like particularly heavy, and you have to do it quietly. Or I don't know. There's so many different ways you could go around it. But water and carnivorous houseplant is a great one, especially after the concepts we've seen of the ivy in Little Nightmares 3. With that like venomous tentacular ivy that chokes out the nurses in the institute. I really like that. That's a great idea, Runaway Cobra. Jesus Christ, did you guys hear that? That ain't good. Have I still got internet? The street just went dark. We have a power outage. So I'm sorry if my stream dies, guys. I really don't want that to happen, but a power outage has just occurred up the street. All the street lights have gone dead, and the car park over the road just gone dark as well. I just heard a big boom. So I don't know if that was like the major generator in the park over the road there just went down, but it seems chat's still moving, so I think I'm safe. Fingers crossed and touch wood, it'll stay that way. Alright, so we are going to close off that vote because it seems to be that we have decided on our protagonist archetype with a 31% majority voted someone already damaged by the nowhere. So we are looking for a veteran character, someone who is hardened by the nowhere, someone who's been there for a long time. So our visitor is still going to be a child, but they've been in the nowhere for a considerable amount of time, long enough for them to have adapted to it, much like Law has. So maybe this character will carry a tool or a weapon of some description. Maybe their actual dress code, the things that they're wearing, could be reflective of like Law seemed custom built for the nowhere. I know she was essentially by design, but like Six doesn't necessarily look like she belongs in the. She hasn't showed up ready for a fight when we first meet her. She's in pajamas, right? She's in like a vest and little shorts. But then you get somebody like Alone, who's got like full-blown goggles and a hazmat suit and a wrench and everything. Like, she is ready for action. It looks like she's been there for long enough to understand the ins and outs, to know what's coming and what's expecting of her, and to know better than to go in there unarmed and unprepared. So we're going to design a character eventually that is hardened to the nowhere. They're not going to be invincible, and maybe they won't have any like particular superpowers, at least not ones that we've established or developed just yet. But they will potentially have an understanding of the way the nowhere works and how to negotiate it, how best to survive it. They might not be a strong character necessarily. They could be weak. Like Law didn't strike me as a particularly strong character, but he was well adapted because he'd been there for such a long time. So even though he was small and malnourished and he wasn't particularly hardy, he was capable of building and utilizing tools. And his mask and his cape and everything, like, it's like when he was walking through the desert, he shields his face with the cape. It's probably a reason he wears it. He also, like, it's like carrying a blanket with him at all times, because if he has to lay down in the nowhere, it'll keep him warm. You get what I mean. We're going to design a character that is hardened to the nowhere. So I'm just going to write that down real quick. We need someone damaged. by the nowhere. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a character who is already, either they've been in the nowhere for a long time already, and the place that they're going to be visiting will be entirely new. It's going to be a domestic place turned hostile. So some kind of residential area, like a hotel or some kind of tenements, apartments, house, cul-de-sac, that kind of thing. And we're going to develop and explore that idea once we've got the fundamentals down. Again, it might not be in this stream, but we are going to be doing this. Now, the next question. Again, branching off to B. Let's see. So I am going to get back to chat, guys. Don't worry. I see that some of you guys are saying you hope I see messages, and I will. I just want to make sure that I am making progress with this actual idea as well, because as much as I love reading all of your comments and responding to them, I take so long doing it that I never really get through any of the ideas I actually come into the stream with, and I just end up yapping. This one's a little bit more friendly to my character thing. Okay, next question, and this is an important one, and I think we can have a lot of fun with this one as well. If it loads, what kind of presence rules this place? So this area that we're going to choose, do we want it to be a single dominant figure? Like, do we want the one singular big boss? Like Katsy recommended earlier on, we have the cul-de-sac with all of the people. You could have the people living in it, but you have one singular big boss, one main character, like the Lady of the Moor, the Thin Man of the Pale City, the Counselor of the Institute, things like that. The Pretender in the Nest. Do we want a single dominant figure all the way through as a presence? Do we want several imposing threats, like an area a bit more akin to the kitchens on the moor, where there are chefs? There's 2, potentially 3 of them lurking around. So it's like, okay, they're all equally dangerous, but there's several of them. And they all behave in like slightly different ways. They're all a little bit nuanced. So you get one chef that's like really active and he's constantly patrolling and he's really frantic and fast. And the other one's kind of lazy and he just sort of lurks in one area, but he makes it really awkward for you to get there. And he's really aggressive, or things like that, So we could do that, or we could have many identical inhabitants behaving as one, like a hive mind. So, like, think more along the lines of the nurses in the institute, the viewers in the Pale City, the patients in the hospital, the bullies in the school, the shadow children, the puppets, things like that, where they work as like a hive mind of sorts. So they operate as if of one mind. Maybe they don't all act together, so maybe they don't communicate telepathically or anything, but they're all dangerous, but less imposing by themselves. But because they operate as a unit and there's so many of them, it might make things considerably more difficult to traverse, and it might make the area a lot more frightening. Like the hospital is arguably the scariest chapter in Little Nightmares history, and most of that is based on the patients themselves and the way they operate. There's so many of them, and their general theme was very, very unsettling. So that could be a cool concept as well, but I'd really like to know what you guys think. Now, let me get back to some of these chats real quick. I'm going to try and look through. Okay. We could do all of the options if we do siblings, just saying. Yeah, Aspen Groves is absolutely right. We could do that, and it is something that we could explore. Again, there's no reason we can't introduce a cameo character, because we could even have, like, if we do decide to do 2 characters, if we can't decide on one, then we can create, like, a buddy system. So, like, even if we only have one playable character, the other could be, like, an AI companion of some description. But yeah, that could work also. The reason I'm trying to narrow it down is because I want to make the story very unique, and I needed a couple of options to, to really branch out these ideas, just to keep it diverse, because that we are going to do more than one of these potentially. If the first one does really well and you guys watch it and you really enjoy it, then if we all do a really good job of working together on this concept, when it all comes together, we will do more of them, and then we can explore some more of these concepts. And I don't want to burn them all out in one go by saying, we can just do all of this stuff, because we could, but then where do we go? Like, how do we move forward from there? It sort of narrows us down. So by forcing us to niche down our concepts, it forces us to focus and bottleneck our ideas into one more linear and chronologically sound thing, rather than just idea soup thrown in. It's like, let's have all the characters and all the monsters and all the environments, because yay, Little Nightmares. Because as cool as that would be, number one, it'd take forever and it'd be really hard, but it's also it would also take away a lot of the future potential. So when it comes to doing this again, it's like, now we could do, someone who's already damaged by this place, and you'd be like, yeah, but we already did that, because the brother was already damaged by this place. We've already had that character. Think of something new. Oh, well, we could have a curious child who doesn't know better, and it's like, that was the sister. We've already done that. If we use all the concepts at the same time, or use too many of them right away, we sort of bleed the well dry rapidly. And if it becomes harder and harder to come up with ideas, that's why I've sort of spaced it out the way I have. But you're absolutely right. If in the future we decide we want to do multiple characters, we could even, like, if we do 2 of these episodes, so like we do one of them, this first one is going to follow a child who's already damaged by the nowhere, so like a veteran of nowhere. The next one we could do a curious child who doesn't know better, like a character who's entirely new to the nowhere and just finding their footing. If episode 3 could find them characters meeting, and then when they meet up, they could be the 2 characters with contrasting traits. So we get one really shy visitor, who's completely new to the nowhere and has no idea what they're doing and just walks headlong into danger out of pure curiosity because they don't know what they're doing. And then there's the strong and brave, hardened individual who's been there for a long time, who's like, what the hell are you doing, you fool? But serves to protect them and guide them through the nowhere as a big brother sort of concept, if you will. That could be like the direction this story takes, if that is indeed what we do. But this is why we have a starting point, which is what we're establishing today. We're creating a foundation. Okay, sorry, where was I? Karina, hi guys. Oh my god, this is the first stream I've seen in a while. That hexagon display looks awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Karina. I really appreciate it. That's my lovely shelf. I built it myself. It's I'm very proud of it. I really like that shelf. Thank you. This is my new office, by the way. For those of you guys that don't know, I moved. I moved house, and this office is entirely new. It looks exactly like my old one, and all of the furniture and the dimensions of the office are the same. I've just flipped it around, but this is an entirely new house. Thank you, Gemini. I didn't think you would notice my carrot. I absolutely did, Noah. I notice a lot more than people think. I'm just not able to respond to it all, unfortunately. As much as I'd like to, it's really hard to keep up. And I hate falling so far behind on chat, because sometimes new people will come into the chat and they'll type in like a really valuable idea or a really wholesome message or something that's worth reading. And by the time I get around to reading it, they've gone, because they're like, this guy isn't even talking to me, And I hate that. I hate that I can't keep up with you guys. Last option sounds like the protagonist for my project. Interesting. So you have 2 people. Maybe the residents could be similar to the viewers from the Pale City, very 1950s. Yeah, I actually like the old school concepts. That's why when I'm looking for inspiration for my ideas, for like the speculative DLC series, when I'm coming up with a resident or a monster or an environment, I often look to history, because history is terrifying. And particularly history that came before my time, because it's history that I wasn't a part of, but I can experience to some degree. Like recent history, the early 1900s, like wartime, for instance, because I can literally visit a museum and I can walk around custom-built environments that let you feel like you're living in those days. I have a wonderful museum local to me where you can walk down a high street. It's literally an entire high street, but it's built as if it was in like the 1850s. And you can go into the shops and look at the merchandise, and there's people who dress in like 1850s attire, and they address you in 1850s dialect and things like that, and they'll sell you certain products as well, so you can take away stuff. I bought a couple of things. Honestly, it's fantastic. It's such an amazing experience, but it's really scary as well. It's really scary because this is in a time where you could literally put someone in a dungeon. Like, you can go downstairs and visit the dungeons, and you can learn all about some of the people who are actually there, and they've got records and notes and directories from the people who actually worked there, like, real writings and real texts and stuff, and it's just so cool. You guys know how museums work anyway. It's fantastic. But when I want to be inspired for some of these ideas, I look to history, and I look to museums, and I look for real sources that I can pull from and be like, yeah, this and this is a really scary concept. A lot of my existing concepts that I've used in my DLCs, they spawned from that. Like, the ideas and the art style and the environments and things like that, they've spawned from just visiting museums and being inspired by what I've seen. Piposaru 1999. I remember when I once dreamed of the twin chefs as a little boy, and once I got caught by them, I would respawn in the game and wake up. That's cool. I actually had a nightmare about the teacher before, where I was in an old school. It was, funnily enough, it was after visiting a museum, because in the dream I was in the museum, walking around the school section, and the school section in the museum that I visit is exactly like the school in Little Nightmares, with the old wooden desks and the old chalkboards and the chalk erasers and everything, the old, like, broken down lockers and everything. And I love that area. I spend a lot of time in there whenever I visit this museum, because it's really haunting to me. It feels like that's where I went to school, because it's actually not too dissimilar from the school I actually went to, because I'm really old. But yeah, I had a dream about it, and the teacher actually walked into the room, and she was so huge. Like, when I look at the teacher on screen, I see her as, similar size to me. She's an adult, I'm an adult, so I assume we'll be about the same size. The teacher in my dream was massive. Her head was like this, and I'm like, oh, nope, she will eat me. And it was really scary. Gem, I've been trying the hand-eye coordination achievement, and alone just ran into the wall and the first chase died. Now I didn't feel bad for her. Yeah, no, honestly, the AI in Little Nightmares 3 is much to be desired. Honestly, it is really difficult. That was actually the hardest part of getting that achievement, was the AI. For the monsters, we can just vote between monster ideas the chat has, because I really want an excuse to talk about my creatures more. Rexo, talk about your creatures all you want. Please go ahead and explain all of your ideas as they come to you. There will be an opportunity, because obviously these are just blanket drop questions to give us a basic foundation. So right now, it seems that we want several imposing threats. So that could be so many different concepts, and if you have existing creature concepts that reflect the majority vote, then please feel free to share them, because we're not going to decide on the exact monster today. We're just going to decide on the basic premise of that monster and the fundamentals, like the foundational behavior and design of that monster. And then once we've got all of these questions answered, once we've done all of these polls, then we're going to find ways to tie them in and see systematically what kind of creature concept would fit best in this environment with this character and reflect their emotions and their traumas and things like that. And how it would fit within the nowhere. And if you already have existing creature concepts that reflect that, I would love to hear about them. But yeah, feel free to share as many as you want. But I think you'll find that as we narrow down the direction this story is going to take, you might decide, right, I've got 3 creature concepts in my head, but only one of them actually fits this narrative. So we'll move on to that now, actually, because this poll's been up for good and long. So I'll end that poll with a 40% majority vote. We have voted for, if I can scroll down a bit more, there you go, 40% of you wanted several imposing threats. So we're not going to go for a single dominant figure necessarily, and we don't. So this was actually a fairly balanced vote, but the majority did vote several imposing threats. So we want more of them. So the initial idea I had when I wrote several imposing threats is an idea like the kitchen, where the enemies are like the chefs, where there's like 2, maybe 3 of them, but they share a similar goal. You know, perhaps they're all involved in the running of the particular residential area that we do. So it could be that these guys are hotel staff. You know, so we could have, I'm not sure really, what do you have in a hotel? You have room service, right? You have a cleaner, so someone who comes in and cleans the rooms and preps, a receptionist, and a chef, for instance. You know, just something like, I'm spitballing here because obviously I've just cherry picked the hotel at random. We haven't decided on what kind of residential area we're going to be visiting or how it's going to relate to our character just yet. This is all stuff that we're going to be visiting in later streams, but for now we're getting the fundamentals down so that we can create this story together. Now, we've got several. Just making some notes. Several imposing threats. Alright, so far we have an entirely new story which takes place in a domestic place turned hostile, like a hotel or a residential area of some description. The main protagonist, our protagonist archetype, is going to be someone damaged by the nowhere. So someone who's already been in nowhere for a long time, is like a seasoned veteran of it, like Lo, who's been there for long enough to recognize the dangers and learn how to navigate them and survive in nowhere. And they are under siege or under threat by several imposing enemies. We have several residents that we're going to design, but we need them to tie into the overall concept and the overarching story. Speaking of the overarching story, that leads me to my next poll question, which I'm going to put up now while I get back to reading chat. If I can remember how to do a poll. Come on, Gem. Be a YouTuber, please. Be good at your job. There you go. So this one only has 2 options, and I feel like we could expand and have more options, but I've kept it down to these 2 because I feel like these 2 particular concepts reflect not only the nowhere in general and the theme of Little Nightmares, but also the games and the direction their stories take. So this is my next question. How should this episode feel overall? Should it feel melancholic, which is like sad, depressing, you know, there's an air of misery to it. So like, you know, think about the endings of Little Nightmares and how it's gone, you know, is this going to be a very depressive scenario where our hero, our main protagonist archetype, he's seasoned and he's weathered, but maybe he's tired, right? He's been in nowhere for a really long time, and if he's melancholic, it's going to feel like the story is going to sort of keep giving him glimmers of hope and then taking them away, and it's just going to get more and more depressing as time goes on. You get to watch this character slowly lose hope, which will be quite miserable and quite sad by the end of it. Or do we want to go hostile, where the enemies are very aggressive? There's a lot of chase sequences, there's not a lot of puzzle solving, and there's more monster activity. There's a lot of chases, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of danger, and there's a lot of combat. So like, you know, it's a fight for survival, and you have to, like, you're basically constantly sprinting all the way through it. So the story is less a melancholic and sad atmospheric one. It's more you know, screaming in your face, you are constantly in danger, you're in trouble, you gotta run, you gotta fight, you've gotta survive, do whatever it takes, otherwise you're screwed. So there are your 2 options. Do we want the story to take a melancholy? I know we can sort of blend the 2 a little bit, and we will in some ways, but predominantly how should this episode feel overall? Are we going to go for a melancholic kind of feel where it's sad and depressing over time, or do we want a hostile, violent, extreme feeling episode? What are you guys feeling with that one? Now let me just get back to chat real fast and see if I can. I don't want to go too far back. Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing Mercus actually, Rexo. If you try to escape the house, the power turns off and the monsters come out. Oh no, Runaway Cobra, stop speaking things into existence because my street is undergoing some kind of power outage. I don't know if it's come back on. It has not. It's just jet black out there at the moment. I can't see anything. For all I know, there could have been something on the other side of that window just staring in at me with unblinking, dead, soulless eyes like mine. Yes, Mercus would fit this. I really want Gemini to see him. I just posted him on my channel. Noah, like future Gem, this is for you. Go to Noah V1597's channel and check out his concept for Mercus and see what kind of concept that looks like. Because if it's a character that will fit the description of this video, perhaps he could feature as an OC. He might even end up being our protagonist that is already damaged by the Nowhere. Mochi Kitty. Could Watch be in it? He's a loose concept character, so you can do whatever you want with him. You don't have to, but it would mean a lot to me if you did. Can't wait to see how this story looks. Mochi Kitty would is Watch a the type of antagonist that's been in the Nowhere for a long time? Like, is he like a seasoned veteran? Is Watch someone that like would have experience in the Nowhere and like really know what they're doing? Just only because the character that we as a community have decided on going forward with is someone who's already damaged by the Nowhere, so somebody that's been there for a long time and is a veteran of it. So if Watch is somewhat like, they don't even necessarily have to be tough and strong, because like again, Law wasn't necessarily tough or strong, but he was seasoned. And he was intelligent. He had like street smarts as far as the Nowhere goes. So he was ready for it. He had good survival instincts, which made him a good damaged individual to use. If you can describe Watch for me, Watch is another potential character that we can use. Again, these are going to go into future polls. And it probably won't be today because I'm like rapidly running out of time, and you know this concept will take a long time to develop, because that's something else that I wanted to get across to you guys, is that creating concepts like these take a very long time, as you guys will notice, because I've been creating my speculative DLC series essentially by myself for about a year, and there's only 6 episodes, and the 6th one isn't even finished yet. But yeah, I am considering showing you guys a sneaky peek of that though, and just as like an extra little bonus for Christmas when we get to the end of this. So the area is like a hotel. Well, not necessarily, but it is a domestic area. So a hotel is just one idea, because when you say like a domestic place turned hostile, it could be a hotel, but it's like a residential place. A domestic place just means somewhere where people live. So it could be a hotel, absolutely, but it could also be a village or a cul-de-sac, like Katsi demonstrated earlier. Could be a really cool concept. It could just be a house, just one singular house. It could be a mansion, like the Nest. It could be an orphanage. You know, somewhere where people live. That's all that means. So it doesn't have to be a hotel. I just went with the hotel idea because it's sort of like just it sat with me. When it was the first one I thought of when I read. But I typed that out, and I read it back to myself, and I'm like, right, you know, is this a good idea, and how could it work, and you know, how does it differ from the others? Because again, I wanted this concept to branch, so that if we do end up making several of these, they don't feel like we're doing the same thing every time. I want them to feel wildly different, even though they all tie into the same fundamental concept. If that makes sense. Katsy's already started sketching. I thought you might. Isn't it crazy that in the Nowhere, the children are not small, it's just the adults and monsters, right? Yeah, it is. That's really strange, isn't it? That 6 is 9 years old, but you look at her and you think she's got to be like 4, right? Because she's so small and she has to like crawl up onto chairs. Like if you get a 9-year-old Like, if you were to take a 9-year-old girl, like 6, she would be big enough to sit in this very chair, and she'd be about this high. You know, she'd probably be up to here on me. Because I'm not particularly tall, and my chair is relatively high, so you guys can see me, so that I can try and stay centre frame as much as I can when I remember I'm on camera. But a 9-year-old girl would be like this. But 6 in the nowhere, climbing onto an office chair, she looks like a baby. Right? She looks like a doll sitting in that chair, because everything in the nowhere is warped and distorted and oversized. So even though she is a normal-sized child, as are all the rest of them, everything else in the nowhere is so big and warped and pseudo-realistic that it really does mess with the overall, like, concept of reality. Alex the Frog, one single dominant figure. My alcoholic father coming home at 1 a.m. Ribbit. Gemini, I draw a hive in between 2 buildings, but like it was being held by strands of... Oh, I like that. Shattered low and alone, that's a really cool concept. Ooh, the hive. The hive is actually a great name for a place in the nowhere, right? I feel like it could be like almost like a factory setting, or like an industrial estate. Somewhere, you know, that's got several buildings, all that have a individual operation and a method of systems that allow for the creation of one product or service, right? Much like the candy factory, but think bigger. Think a larger concept that would take more than one factory. So you've got, like, you know, one of them is the packaging plant. So the place that goes where everything gets like bagged and boxed and everything like that. The other place is where it actually gets developed, and the third place will be the first one, which is like raw materials. Where, like, you know, the metal or glass is melted down and formed into the product where it's made. And you could, like, systematically work your way through this industrial estate, and that could be the hive, because it's just full of workers all doing their own individual jobs to suit the needs of one hive queen, which would essentially be like the big boss of the company. So the creature could be like the boss or the CEO or the manager or something like that. You get what I'm saying. But that's cool. I like that. That's an idea we could play with in the future as well. I want Mr. Beast to be the final boss. Now that I say, it's actually a pretty solid concept. Imagine having to do a bunch of tasks like housekeeping or cooking or appease your dad so he doesn't beat you. It's so dark, Alex. Have a good day or night, everyone. Be safe, take care. I'll write my ideas down and type them in the comments. Thank you, Tammy. I really appreciate it. I will be reading those comments enthusiastically. Thank you for your contributions today. It's been great to have you in the stream, and Merry Christmas. I think my contrasting OCs are my favourite ones I've made. They're just so fun to write. Katsy, I've sent you a sketch of my idea of the domestic space in Discord. Excellent. Thank you, Katsy. I appreciate that. I'll be checking that out after the stream. Well, probably after I eat, actually, because I'm getting really hungry. Hey, what's up, Mika? Micah? I know I always do this where I'm like, hey, what's your actual name? But hello there and welcome to the stream. Happy Christmas. Is it that Victorian place? Yeah. I think if you're talking about the museum I visited, yes, it absolutely is Runaway Cobra. Alison with another little dono. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. But stop being cheeky. That's enough now. I know what you're doing. I see you. Sorry, Jem, had to take a break. Hey, don't worry about it, Alison. You're absolutely fine. You've got a life outside of my stream. That's totally fine. Mr. Tibbs, their name should be called the Geminists. No, they shouldn't. Nothing should ever be called the Geminist. I refuse to make that a thing. I'm not even going to poll that because I know what'll happen. I know chat will get behind it and you'll just dug me, and then whatever I say, don't say this, you'll all say that, because that's just how chat works. Mr. Beast must be huge then. Yeah, he absolutely is. Especially given, like, look at this. Just real quick. So, these are my Descent to Nowhere comics so far, and I bought this one. Look at the size of him. Even compared to the grown-ass woman, like the detective, Myra, is an adult woman. Look at the size of this dude. Bro is like bigger than the whole elevator. He's absolutely massive. He's such a domineering presence. Bruh. I love the ferryman. He's such an awesome design. I really hope we do get to see more of him, particularly in the Secrets of the Spiral DLC when that does eventually release. And yes, W. Allison. I know I sounded really unappreciative if you don't know there, but I really, really do. But I also know that it's Christmas time, and I know you have children, and I know that you shouldn't be making donations to my ass. So stop. Watching Kitty, I would say he's a seasoned veteran, so he knows plenty about the nowhere. He has a future resident of this Ooh, interesting. Cool, we have potential for evolution. Finish my drawing of Mercus. I'll make a post showing him off later. Yeah, please do, Rex. I'll be checking that out. Future gem, that's for you. Right then. A 9-year-old is basically a tall toddler. Yeah, essentially, yeah. No. Quick question, who here is afraid of spiders? I am not. Gaius, I feel like any hive minds in the nowhere would work like the Mind Flayer in Stranger Things. Yeah, potentially. I'm not going to pretend like I'm up to date with Stranger Things. I watched season 1, I thought it was awesome. But then I sort of like... Well, I don't watch TV. I literally don't watch TV. I'm on YouTube pretty much all the time. So I'm not naive enough to not recognise the Mind Flayer. I know the impact Stranger Things has had and how awesome the series is. I've just never watched it in its entirety. But yeah, the concept of the Mind Flayer does actually sit quite well in the nowhere. Mind Flayer kind of reminds me of the Signal Tower in a little bit. Like the Signal Tower is what's, you know, controlling all of the viewers and keeping them all like placid in a way. What's up, Billy Bob? How's it going? I am actually doing really well. I actually feel a lot better now. I think it's just the positivity in the room. And the fact that I actually got a little bit of sleep earlier on as well. I took a nap earlier. It was nice. God, I'm so old. I decided to take a nap. Hey, Kip. What's up, Kip Animations? How you doing? You've missed quite a bit, but don't worry too much because you can always rewatch a stream, and what's important is that you made it now. So just as a quick update for the people who are just arriving, like Billy Bob and Kip and I just read your name and I've forgotten already. Idiotic Bookworm, hello there and welcome. Everything is great at the new place so far. Still got a couple of teething issues, but you know how it is. But yeah, so real quick, just to update you guys on what's going on, we are today together creating a concept for a new Little Nightmares story video that I'm going to be creating. But I'm going to be doing it with you guys. So I am putting up votes, as you guys can see, and we are systematically breaking down and inventing a Little Nightmares story. And we're going to break down, you know, the environment, the characters, the theme, the residents, and everything like that, all the way down to the ending. And we're going to make that, and then eventually I'm going to have it designed and conceptualized and edited and animated, and it's going to be just like my speculative DLC series that I created for Little Nightmares 2, which is coming to an end very soon when I finish episode 6, which is the final episode. But I don't want to stop creating these concepts, and I realized quite recently I don't have to. I can continue to invent these kind of ideas, but the first one I ever do, I want to do with you. So I'm giving you guys an opportunity to make your voices heard and to become a part of this, and that's what these polls are up with. Unfortunately, we are a pretty decent way through these votes. In fact, we've only got one more major one to do before I sort of like start. Well, before I close off. I might close off for the night, I'm not sure yet, because I still feel like I've got quite a bit of energy, but let's see how I feel in 10 minutes time when the hunger really kicks in. Now that I've recognised I'm hungry, all I want to do is eat. All I can think about is food. So I'm going to end that poll because we have a considerable majority vote there. 74% of you guys have decided that you would like the episode overall to feel melancholic. So we are going to go with that. I'm going to make a note here. I've got more notes here of how this concept is going to go. Melancholic.
So you guys would prefer a melancholic feel overall, where we see like a gradual decline in our character's vigor and a sort of like a weakened state of being. So they might start off really strong, but this character is a seasoned veteran of the nowhere, and they know what they're doing. So it's oh my god, Jet! Give me a second. You wait there, lad. But yeah. So that's what we're doing. But the story is going to systematically sap the life away from them, and little by little they're going to lose hope, and it's going to create a very melancholic and despair-filled atmosphere. Jetty Spaghetti is in the building. Merry Christmas, my guardian angel. Everyone bow. Everyone bow to my guardian angel, Jetty Spaghetti, who has been here since day one. She is a true channel veteran. Jetty Spaghetti has been here before I was cool. Thank you so much, Jet. It's so wonderful to see you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you as well. And thank you so much for your generous donation. It is very, very much appreciated. Let me get some eyeballs in the chat for the wonderful Jetty Spaghetti. Everyone bow. You are a legend, Jet. What an absolute legend. Every year, she comes through for me all the time. All the time. You always show up for me. Thank you, Jet. What a legend. What a legend. I always get a bit choked when Jet comes in because for a long time I wasn't very popular on YouTube because nobody is when they start out, right? You know, you start doing YouTube and you meet a couple of other people and you start like you're building up a small community, like a little fan base sort of thing. But it's mostly just like a group of friends that are all there and supporting each other. You know, you meet people that you like that share a similar goal. You know, we all want to be a YouTuber, we all want to be a content creator, we all want to develop something that other people enjoy. And you inevitably meet other people that share that notion, and that's how I met Jet. And it's but that's the thing. I met a lot of people in my early days as a content creator when I was trying to find my feet and learn what I wanted to do and learn how to edit and how to manage my SEO and things like that, and just become better at being a YouTuber. And it's not like I'm wildly successful, but right now I'm in a position where I've got so many people watching me towards like so close to Christmas Day that I can barely keep up. That to me is a level of success that I did not expect when I first started. When I first started, I had Jet. I had Jet and a handful of other people that would like stop in sometimes and show me a bit of support and love and things like that, and I would do the same for them, and we'd sort of back up each other's channels. And Jet doesn't have to do that, but she does it anyway, and that's why I always get a bit emotional when Jet pops into chat, because it's nice to know that someone who was here from the beginning is still here now. What a legend. Thank you so much, Jet. Long-term channel member as well. Get a look at that eyeball. Look at that. Jetty Spaghetti has been such a long-term member of the channel that she has the hyper eye. You've always been cool. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Gemini, Mr. Beast is coming for me. Help. You use bear spray. There should be a big boss standoff. Ooh, Mochi, that's a good idea. If we've got several big bosses, maybe they're bosses that don't necessarily work in tandem with each other. Maybe these bosses don't actually get along. Maybe they fight over the protagonist, and that actually helps us escape. I actually brought this concept. Well, I didn't actually invent this concept. I borrowed it. I don't want to say I stole it, but I totally did from the comics, because we know that the Ferryman and the North Wind don't necessarily get on, right? And I did it in my speculative DLC series where I put the Wax Bellman up against the Ferryman in a similar circumstance, right? That's cool. All right, awesome sauce. I like that idea, Mochi. That's really cool. Thank you, Katsy, for the second sketch. I will be checking those out, and I'll let you know what I think of them after the stream as well, because I am going to do the I am actually going to go on Discord after this and respond to a few messages, because I haven't been on for a while and I feel very ignorant, but I have not been very well. Mama's trying to have a pina colada. Hi, hello there. Hello and welcome to the stream. My sister is kind of homeless. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. That sucks. I want to say something wholesome that will help, but I am really, really useless with that. All I can offer is a story, because I was homeless once, and I was living on the street. I was only homeless for about 32, 33 days, something like that, and I ended up getting a job in a hotel, and I ended up sleeping in that hotel for a little while until I got paid, and then I eventually put a deposit down and started renting my own place, and I sort of worked my own way out of it. I really wish that I could offer you some solid advice and say, there's someone who can help, and there are definitely people and services who can help that you should look into, and you could probably find them on Google. Just chat GPT it, if anything. Unfortunately, I can't signpost you because when I was homeless, nobody cared. So it was just like, well, tough, you're just going to have to figure it out, and I did. But nobody helped me, so I have no ideas. I can't say, oh, I just went to this place and they backed me up. They didn't, because I'm an adult and nobody cares. And that's not to say that I don't care. There are people that do care, and there are people that I could help. I just didn't have the right signposting. But it exists. Just look it up, honestly. Your sister can find help. It just won't be from me, because I really don't know what to do. All I can do is Google the people that can help, because people can. There are literally fully established charities whose job it is to make sure that you're not homeless, or at least to help guide you out of it. I'm really sorry to hear that, especially at this time of year. It sucks. I was also homeless around Christmas time too, and it sucked, and it was cold, and it was miserable, and it's not a good place to be. So if she can get help, I really hope she does. Are we going to do the Chapter 6 teaser soon? I think I will do, guys. I think I might well do. Right, no worries. Gemini law is crazy. The Gemini situation. All right. Last poll. Well, maybe not the last poll of the night, but it will be the last poll with regard to this thing that we're doing, this concept that we're putting together. So I'm going to start a poll. And it's going to be a very simple question. But I want you to think quite hard about it, because it might affect how future ones pan out. So be careful with your responses to this one. Think hard about it. And here we go. How should this episode end? I've given you guys 4 options. Should we escape the nowhere, but with confidence? Consequence. Escape with confidence. I'm leaving. You can't stop me. No. Escape with consequence. So very similar to how Lo escaped the nowhere, but at the expense of sacrificing his best friend. Like that kind of thing. Will we escape with consequence? Will the end of this episode result in transformation? Like, will we transform into a stronger form of ourselves? Like, will our already seasoned veteran protagonist find a way to utilize whatever quirk or special power that they've been tapping into all the way through this story? Will they transform into a monster themselves, like Mono and the Thin Man? Will they be engulfed by the nowhere and build into it? Will there be an ambiguous disappearance where it's left sort of unknown, like in the Little Nightmares 2 electronic comics? We see the toddler, the blind boy with the feather and the bindi. He walks up to a television and he's taken away by the Thin Man, and we don't know what happened to him. Nobody actually knows where he went after that. It's never been elaborated on, it's never been expanded on. We don't know what happened. It was an ambiguous disappearance, but it leaves his story open to future development, which is cool. Or do we just straight up end it with death and say, nope, he didn't make it? So think Raincoat Girl or Runaway Kid, where it's literally just they have their story. Episode 1, we're introduced to them, we learn about them, we watch their melancholic decline into despair, and then they die. I know that's super horrible and morbid to say, but we are talking about inventing a Little Nightmares scenario, and so far the closest thing to a happy ending we've got is Six leaving the mall, and we don't even know if she made it. We just know that she got out. We don't know what happened to her afterwards either. Hers was ambiguous, but it wasn't happy. Six didn't have a happy story. None of them did. None of these guys had a particularly happy run. So I haven't put happy ending in there as an idea because it's not something I feel fits with the aesthetic of the Nowhere, especially considering the overall feel of the episode is decided to be melancholic. If it feels melancholic, then giving it a happy ending at this point would kind of be contradictory. But what do you guys think? Because it's not about what I think. I am going to help to conceptualize this. Like, this idea is going to be like a brainchild of sorts, but it's a collaborative effort between myself and all of you. So please let me know what you think. Yes, W idea. W idea indeed, Mochi. No worries, Alex the Frog, thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate your contributions as always. Fantasy Feline, gotta leave now, bye. I'd like to do some concert art if possible. I don't have Discord, but may get it soon. Have fun about it. Yeah, Fantasy Feline, if you do happen to get Discord, it would be awesome to see some of your artwork in there. If not, my email address is available on my channel. It's like a community one, so people can send me, fan art and theories and things like that. Feel free to utilize that. I don't check it all the time, and you won't get like an immediate response, but I will definitely read whatever you send me. So if you want to, please feel free to go ahead and do that. And have a wonderful Christmas. Gemini went from being homeless to our cult leader and serial killer. I'm so proud of how much he's grown. Why am I a serial killer? Where did that come from? I haven't killed anyone in weeks. Transformation. Because I bet you guys are curious what Mercus will look like if he transforms. That's actually fair, because if we're going to use an OC character, if we're looking into your guys' concepts, that I am going to be as well, because obviously in the next one we are going to refine some of these details. The choices we've made today and the notes that I've made are all based on foundation. These are fundamental decisions that are going to dictate the narrative of the story, but they don't necessarily dictate anything about the character's individuality or the resident's particular theme or anything like that. We're going to deep dive into that a lot more later on, but it's important that we get the fundamentals down so that we have a foundation to build off of, and then we narrow it down and bottleneck it into a story that makes sense cyclically. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you guys have OCs that you think would tie into this, that you don't mind other people playing with conceptually, because obviously I have my own OCs, I have my own like alternative direction. I have the comic book series that I've been working on that is a story that hold very close to me, and while I love seeing other people's concepts of it and interpretations of it, I like to keep a lore bible of my own where I can say this is exactly how this character thinks and feels and acts. And I wouldn't like other people to play with that concept too much, because I feel like it dilutes the character outside of the vision that I have for them. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and if you guys want to do that, you're welcome to, but it's not something that I would be happy to embrace and publish as canon. So it would have to be like an alternative universe, an AU if you will. But if you guys have concepts that you've created in your mind and you want to open to the public and let us develop as a community, then feel free to submit them as a potential character that we could create and conceptualize. Obviously the artwork or the design of this character would be entirely yours, but the direction the story takes, that would be more down to the whims of the poll votes. Poll votes which so far are leaning more towards ambiguous disappearance than anything else, which I quite agree with. I really like the idea of ambiguous disappearance. Ambiguous disappearance for episode 1 is a really good idea, because that way it doesn't close the door on this character. It allows us to leave the door open, or at least ajar, so we don't necessarily know what happens to the character at the end of the story, but if we decide to move forward with it and expand on this character's story, we can. And it gives us the ability to do that without consequence, much like deaths in Marvel. Because nobody dies in a Marvel movie. Not really. Gemini, what's a happy ending? Yeah, I know, right? Alone got a happy ending. The sweet release of death. Jesus Christ. That's cool to hear, but it seems like ambiguous is winning. Still hoping Gemini sees my character, or at least comment on it when he sees it, really. I will know it, because I won't be looking at it while I'm on stream, because I don't open Discord when I'm on stream, just for worry of, like, cross-contaminating, essentially, because, number one, my Discord is really hard to keep up with anyway, but I will be checking it out after the stream, and I've made several notes to myself to go back and check out some of these concepts. So I definitely will see your character, I definitely will be checking it out, and it definitely will come up in conversation as we move forwards with this concept. So don't worry, I have seen you, I recognise you, you have been acknowledged. I'm just not doing it now and making a big deal out of it, because there's several of these that it's probably going to be, and I don't want to say with any certainty, yes, we are definitely going to use this character, because a lot of people might go like, I could check my Discord in like an hour's time, and I could have like 10 different character concepts, all of which are brilliant. So I'm going to have to, and it would be unfair of me to dictate that this is a community effort and then just pick a character that I like personally. I have to let you guys vote. So I'm going to take all of the concepts into consideration and then let everyone as a community decide on what they want. And you will get a fair and even chance to add your character into that mix. So I'm not going to take anything away from you, I promise. It feels like we're playing a choose your own adventure game. Kip, that's essentially what we are doing. We're pretty much doing a choose your own adventure story. And that's why I've chose these like branching methods. Like this could have gone a completely different direction. We could be back on the moor with the bread boy, facing off against the janitor with no arms or something like that. Like, this could go any number of ways, because the truth is, the nowhere itself has an endless amount, like it's a bottomless well of lore and ideas that you can endlessly expand on, because the nowhere itself is given life and frame of reference by the subconscious minds of the visitors, and we ourselves could be visitors. So we can utilize everything about our own personal, individual uniqueness. Our fears, our traumas, our insecurities, our preferences, everything like that can be brought to life and warped in the nowhere. And the fact that we're able to do that is such a brilliant concept. So yeah, that's what I intend to do. And I was planning on doing that anyway, but I thought, well, I've been doing that for a while with the Little Nightmares 2 series. Granted, that's not all me, because I took concepts that I already knew existed and expanded on those. But now that I've bled that well dry, essentially, when episode 6 is finished and released to the public, there will be less canon concepts for me to work with. So I thought, well, why stop there? Why not continue to expand? And because you guys all love doing this as well, I thought, well, I could give you a platform and an opportunity to collaborate with me, and we'll create a concept together that we can all enjoy, that we've all contributed to. So it gets the majority vote, and that means the majority of people are going to enjoy what we make. And if they don't, just jump into the next one and cast your votes on the next one, because the next one will be entirely different. And we just keep doing that until it gets boring, if it ever does. It hasn't got boring for me in nearly 9 years. Merry Christmas, Heaven Robinson. Welcome to the stream. Don't worry about it. You're never late as long as you're here. It's all good. Okay, but I posted it on YouTube. It's not on Discord. Understood. Noah, Discord, Future Gem. If you've already looked on Discord and you haven't got a message from Noah, that's why. It's on his YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's on there. You can see it. You can see it. You know what to do. You're a professional YouTuber. Janitor mentioned. Janitor Roger exists. The Spider Queen possesses a human-like intelligence, giving surprisingly complicated commands to its workers. It refuses to leave its web, even when our protagonist risks its destruction. Yes, that is actually a cool concept because that could be like, the Spider Queen would essentially be like a queen mother, right? But you know what, the concept that I've got in my mind at the moment is, have you guys ever seen Ridley Scott's Alien? Specifically Alien 2, because there's a queen alien in it, and she's enormous. The queen alien is a massive xenomorph creature with like 6 arms and a massive crown, and she's sitting in a hive and she's just laying eggs. And she's stuck in there, and the main protagonist, Ripley, walks in with a flamethrower, and she just starts like nailing all of the eggs and stuff like that and burning it down. But the queen doesn't move. She just sits there and she's just like commanding her guardians. She's got other aliens surrounding her, and she's like, "You guys, you go get this woman. Stop her from burning all the eggs. You do it. You do it. You do it. You do it." And she only actually gets involved with the fight after all the other aliens have been dispatched and the eggs are all burning, and she's like, "Right, you know what, fine, you've ruined it, I'm coming after you." And then the alien queen detaches from her egg sac and chases Ripley. It's awesome. Who wants a face hug? Can we ride the spider? Alright then, guys, I think I'm going to close out this vote right here and call that a successful descent. So, once it loads in, we have 53%, the biggest percentage overall, so the majority decision, 53%. Over half of you guys think that this should result in an ambiguous disappearance. So, I'm going to relay these ideas back to you, and you guys can consider them as we move forwards with this, because, again, we are going to fine-tune and refine this idea until we have crafted a fully realized Little Nightmares concept that can be developed into a video and potentially even a playable chapter in a video game that I'm working on with The Oldest Nightmare. Excuse me. But just to relay real quick, we started with a poll, and you guys have voted that you would like to create an entirely new story. So it's completely new. This is, a totally new concept with new monsters, new environments, new people, etc. It's going to take place in a domestic place turned hostile, like a hotel, a residential area, a cul-de-sac, and so on and so forth, that kind of thing. So a domestic place turned hostile. Our main archetype, our protagonist archetype, our hero of this story who we're going to take control of, is going to be someone who's already damaged by the nowhere. A veteran of the nowhere who's been here for long enough to recognize the danger and learn how to navigate it in their own way. They could have special tools or special armor of some description, like clothing, or just they're well versed in survival. They have good survival instincts within the nowhere. There will be several imposing threats throughout the story, rather than one dominating presence, and rather than a hive mind of individuals like the viewers. There will be several imposing threats, more like the chefs. So like 2 or 3 major enemies that work either in sync or in tandem or in competition with one another, that are going to cause problems for our antagonist, and they should be based in the domestic place that we end up choosing, which again we will revisit in a future video. The entire video is going to have a melancholic feel, which means it's going to gradually decline into deeper and deeper pits of despair until the end of the video. By the end of the game, the video, the episode, wherever we're calling it, it has a very sad, depressive, melancholic feel, which fits the Little Nightmares aesthetic very, very well, rather than the violent and hostile kind of feeling. And finally, it's going to end with an ambiguous disappearance of said character, leaving the door open to future commitments if we wanted to expand on this character's story some more, or have them cameo in other ways as well, rather than just choosing to immediately kill off this character or have them transform into a resident or anything like that. That, right now, is our story so far. Now, I'm going to ask you guys one more thing, because I've done what I set out to do today and we have the basics there, and I am going to have to create a new branch of polls after looking at some of your concepts, you know, I'm going to look at a lot of these messages that you guys have sent me, visit your channels like Noah's, check out the Discord messages like Catsy's, and I'm going to read through them, and I'm going to sort of pool them all together, and I'm going to create a new branching system of polls that will start towards the beginning of the new year, probably. Maybe for New Year we'll do another live stream where we will expand on this idea and we'll refine it down even more, where we start creating an actual character concept, an actual area concept, and an actual threat. So we next time we might decide what the monsters are going to be, where they're going to live, and what our antagonist is going to look like. And we can focus on that once I've got this down. But first, I'm going to take a very quick break, and I'm going to start a new poll that might interest some of you guys, those of you guys that are still here, because I do recognise it's getting late and a lot of you have to go to school, uni, work and everything like that. And of course it's Yule and it's Christmas time and people have things to do, probably better things to do than sit here and chill with me. But here you go. What do you call it? Okay. Would you? I'm gonna take a break really quickly. Just like a 2-minute break while I go to the bathroom and let you guys cast your votes, and then I'm gonna close out the stream with one more thing. So. Number one, don't forget to, if you want to enter the giveaway for the limited edition exclusive Descent to Nowhere comic, please type the word Xmas25 in like Heaven Robinson did just now into the chat. You only have to do it once, it will be counted, so don't worry, I won't miss it. If you've already done it once, you don't need to do it again, so it's absolutely fine. And this right here is the next poll that I'm going to let you guys vote on while I'm just taking a really quick break. But I want to close out the year with something special, so here you go. Would you like a preview of Chapter 6 of My Little Nightmare Speculative DLC? The first 5 minutes. So if you decide yes, and the majority of people decide that you actually want to see it, then I will fire it up on stream and I will let you guys watch the first 5 minutes of my speculative DLC Chapter 6 with full sound effects and music and everything like that, like pretty much fully realized. It does need a tiny bit of tightening up and it may change a little bit, but if you guys are interested in seeing that, I'll give you guys a first-hand preview that no one else is ever going to see. Well, they won't see it, obviously they can watch the stream back and everything, but if you all vote yes, or if the majority of you vote yes, then that's what I'll do. But for the moment, I'm just going to take a really quick break and I'll check your votes when I get back and I'll see about setting it up for you. So cast your votes. I'll be right back. Okay, I have returned. So just really quickly, I've changed over my audio. As you guys can see, I'm wearing headphones now, because I had a feeling I knew how this vote would go. So I have made some amendments to my layout, and I'm really hoping it works. I'm not sure if it will. I actually have to make sure that you guys can hear and see everything properly. So yeah, it looks like the vote has been 94% positive, which I'm very happy about. I'm glad you guys are excited for this for this this end sequence sort of thing. I'm excited to show you guys because I really do think that it's cool. Um, all right, let's see. So it's picking up my mic so you guys can still hear me. I'm going to turn off my backing track now. So you guys will lose music, but just for a second, because I need to change over to this. Now, I am also going to move chat. So pop out chat. Shift it over this side. Gemini, I think I might have powers from nowhere. I can see to the future in my dreams. Waking up in public and seeing it. Maybe you do. Maybe next time you're in the nowhere, maybe next time you sleep, you should try practicing with these powers. See if you can lucid dream. See if you can control the actions of the nowhere. Also, I know I look ignorant and I'm talking away from the mic, but it's because I've had to move chat over there because I've got my editing software open on this screen, and I'm going to try and maximize it so you guys can see it. I just don't want to. Right, why have I got two chats open at the same time? That one can go. Gemini putting on headphones should be taken as seriously as Ash Ketchum flipping his hat backwards before he catches a Pokemon. So much more serious than serious. Right, yeah, but I go out and I even turn the volume up. Right, here we go. I didn't even Vine boom. There you go. All right then, guys. So I've got to turn off my face. And I'm going to move over to this. This is the first 5 minutes preview of my Speculative Little Nightmares DLC Chapter 6. I really hope you guys like it. I understand if you don't. If you don't want to watch it, this is your opportunity to get out now. Like if you don't want to be spoiled or anything like that. It's the first 5 minutes and it's a relatively long episode, but there are going to be some major spoilers for the episode itself. And yet again, it is going to be slightly refined, and because it's only open in the editing software, because it's still in preview, the overall quality might not reflect the final product that you get to see, because this is just a preview. But I wanted to give you guys a little something to show what I've been working on. It's took me a long time, it's been very difficult, and there's been a lot of work and a lot of collaboration involved, so I really hope you guys enjoy this. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think of the chat. Chat's open over there. I'm going to mute my mic and go quiet for a minute, but I'll be watching chat. Just let me know, just to make sure you guys can hear and everything like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and shrink myself there, and I'm going to up my display in a second. Is this me? There's me. Oh God! And there's my face. There I am. All right, 1 second. There's my face. Look how happy I am. Oh no. All right then, guys. If you're ready, I'm going to let this begin. I'm going to be watching chat while this plays out. I'm going to let it play for the next 5 minutes or so and let you guys enjoy, or not enjoy, what is to come. Again, the quality might be slightly compressed. I apologise for that, but there's my face. And I'm muting up now. We begin in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Right, sorry guys, that was a pain. I thought that might happen, and I'm not so sure why, because according to my OBS, it's picking up my desktop audio just fine. So let me just have a play with the properties really quick and find out exactly why. Oh, I know why. There. There. Now. There you go. I do apologise, guys. That was entirely my fault. I changed over to my headphones, and I look at my face. Right. Okay. I'll just really quickly bring chat back. There we are. Right. No, you're not. You're not. I've just been. I'm just being a dope. Okay. Right. Starting again in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Crucible of traumas and nightmares brought to life. We've watched our handful of adventurous visitors tear and tumble their way to uncertain and untimely fates as they traverse the ever-expanding plane that is the nowhere. Their numbers dwindling one by one until we're left with only one more story to tell. You may find it sinisterly satisfying that we both begin and end this speculative DLC series with 6 in more than one respect. And seeing as the Little Nightmares poster child needs no introduction, we can skip the question of her canonicity and jump right into exploring the parts of her story that we did not get to see. So let us descend, little ones, into chapter 6. Seamless transition. But first, the obligatory spoiler warning. This video will contain spoilers for Little Nightmares 1, Little Nightmares 2, Very Little Nightmares, and of course episodes 1 through 5 of my speculative DLC series, which if you have not caught up with just yet, I suggest you go back and give those a watch before watching this one. Now with that being said, we can head right back to the character select screen and choose our final visitor, which will have the screen as usual fade to black, opening out to a cutscene, the sounds of wind whipping by our ears and a gruff, deliberate groaning being all but drowned out by the thunderous sounds of erupting flames. Emerging from behind smoky grey clouds into the light of a toxic yellow sky descends a hot air balloon, and inside this balloon, huddled in an uncomfortable ball in the corner of the large wicker basket, is Six. Devoid of raincoat or bag-wearing companion, she remains entirely still, as a pair of enormous feet thunder around the basket, their owner grumbling furiously as the basket sways uncomfortably and the balloon descends, eventually making heavy contact with the surface of an unsettlingly precarious landing pad atop a very tall and structurally questionable domicile. Just before being placed in full control, we are given a look at our hulking captor, the pilot. A large and surprisingly distinguished looking man, his shape very much reminiscent of the balloon he's piloting. He glances down at Six as he pants and gasps his robust body out of the basket, slamming the door behind him and disturbing a line of propane tanks. As they collapse, we are presented with a window of opportunity. The sides of the basket, too high to climb normally, are now accessible if Six hops onto the tanks and clambers awkwardly over the side of the basket, landing on the ground and taking in her new surroundings. Our job, as the player, will be to navigate Six around this area without being spotted, as the pilot tethers his balloon and gets ready to offload his cargo, which, unbeknownst to him, is currently scurrying across the rooftop towards a small grate which is partially covered by a pile of propane canisters stacked neatly atop one another. Beside them, a large mechanical winch and a huge-looking engine sitting atop an unsturdy wooden workbench. Turning it enough times successfully will have the heavy propeller unit lift a few feet above the table before the rusted old winch's safety mechanism gives out, a loud crack getting the pilot's attention before the engine comes crashing down onto the workbench and shattering it into splintered timbers, and subsequently breaking through the decrepit flooring of the landing bay, descending into a cavernous attic space below. The heavy impact sending the stack of propane canisters cascading into the hole after the propeller unit, much to the dismay of the furious pilot who comes charging in our direction. Pushing one remaining canister aside and sending it rolling into the hole, we finally have access to the ceiling grate. Lifting it quickly and hopping inside, we will begin a sliding descent through the filthy ventilation system as our first achievement is registered. A shaken Six emerges from the vent in a room filled with cages. There you have it. There you go. That is that for the moment. So, let me just close out this software really quick. Hopefully you guys can still hear me while I bring my chat back. There we are. That can move, that can move. And there we are. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know if you can see me. Uh-oh. Where's my OBS? Oh, there it is. All right, fantastic. You guys can still see me. All right, lovely. So, yeah, that is everything that I've got so far. Again, it's there's some areas of it that are going to be refined for the future video when it's actually fully realized and completed. Yes, the actual concept for the pilot was done by Propimol. All of my monster and character concept art are always drawn by Propimol. She's always like my go-to person, and the pilot is not the only enemy we're going to see in this speculative DLC. But he is the first one, and I really hope that you guys like that concept there. Do you recognize what happened? Like, if you watch Little Nightmares, if you watch Very Little Nightmares, or if you play Very Little Nightmares, the first scene, that ties into. And I think if you watch it and pay close attention to what happens, you'll realize how what we've just seen ties in to what we've already experienced in the Very Little Nightmares mobile game. And I hope that you guys like that tie-in, and I hope that you enjoyed how I conceptualized it and how I brought it together and the way I designed the level, the layouts and everything. Again, there are some areas where it's going to be refined. You know, I'm going to be changing some of the equalization on the sound, the sound effects, the music, the timing, the card as well. You'll notice where I give you the title, which is seamless transition. The screen just went black. That's because there is going to be a title card, but that title card is going to feature a character that comes later in the video, which would serve as a major spoiler, which I'm not prepared to reveal at the moment. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to bring up my chat super fast and read the last couple of messages, and then I'm going to close out for the night. But yeah, this has been absolutely dope, and I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. Oh my days, ladies and gentlemen, the notorious Bass is in the building. Look at this guy. What's up, my brother? How's it going? How are you, my brother Bass? It's great to see you in the chat. And a lot of positive comments in here as well. Yeah, it was Propimol. Peakness, little peak mares. Excellent. So, I'm really glad that you guys were able to join me for this stream. It's been dope. I've had a lot of fun combing through this and getting your ideas and sharing some of these concepts with you. I'm really glad that you guys seem to have enjoyed my Little Nightmares speculative DLC concept, at least the first 5-minute preview. There is a lot more to come, a lot more to be revealed, and a lot more refinement to be done. But I wanted to give you guys a little taster of what is to come. Now for a taste of things to come. And oh yeah, and also that area that you've just seen, I did actually sketch, because I do actually sketch these out as well. There's a lot of work that comes into it, but there is yeah, that's another video that I'm thinking about making next year, is some of the behind the scenes processes that go into making these videos. And now you guys know what some of those processes are because you've been a part of it. That's what these notes are, and that's what all of the polls are about today that you guys have so generously contributed to, which I very much appreciate. And I cannot wait to further explore this concept with you and to develop it more. So, If you haven't already liked the video, please do, because it'll help me with the algorithm. It'll help boost our expansion, and it will help draw more eyes to our concept. And if that's the case, we get more eyes on the concept, then we get more people's ideas, because there's so many of you now contributing so many ideas that we can get a much better understanding of what really counts. So obviously I voted, I let you guys vote on these things, and I went with the majority vote every time. And the more of you there are, the more of the Little Nightmares community's majority we have access to, which means the better these overall concepts will be. So it is important to me that this gets out to as many people as possible, so people can not only contribute, but people can see it and enjoy it, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But for the moment, I'm going to call it a night. I'm very, very hungry, and I'm rather sleepy, and I'm still sick. So, thank you all so much for being here. Happy Yule, happy holidays, happy New Year, and Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all later. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next one, because each and every one of you is going to be credited in this upcoming video when it's eventually released. And a lot of you guys, particularly the artists and the more talented among you, there is going to be some collaboration when it comes to creating this new video. But that's it for now. So until next time, that's game over.